Up, and it is long enough, and it is good. Adam Vinatieri, at age 45, drills one from 57 yards out.
It's kept alive by Oladipo, and Sabonis with a left hand.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV, FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
We're locked in today with a ton of conversation regarding yesterday. Pacers and free agency, what they did, what the rest of the NBA did, and what you thought about it, and maybe what is still to come. J. Michael the Star, a little bit later on. I had thoughts clearly on how all this went down. I also kind of laugh at the whole tampering thing because there is no way in the world that all this stuff turns on a damn dime and is agreed to or wheels in motion, if not set in stone in 5 minutes. There's no way. None. So how long do you think the Pacers knew that Bojan was going to be too expensive for them? Because I do believe Kevin Pritchard. I believe Kevin Pritchard at the beginning, he said Bojan is our priority. He is a priority. We want to bring him back. And I have told you all along, this is going to depend on where their threshold might be. I mean, he is the magical or non-magical 30 years of age. And for 2 years, he was really good. He was really good for, a season and about 4+ months? Because to start around here, we all thought this was going to be somewhat of, really to start, he kind of looked like Doug McDermott. Go, wait a minute. Well, he's supposed to be this, and we're waiting on him to be this, and he's really not this yet. We're kind of waiting on that with Doug McDermott. Unless they can find a deal. Anyway, that's probably for another time. But you look at how this all transpired. So they wanted Bojan Bogdanović. And a lot of people have suggested to me, just like I think it was either Bill Simmons or was it Zach Lowe or somebody that brought up, and Kyle and I were talking about this last week, about how all this Ricky Rubio stuff could have been a smokescreen. The first thing I would have to ask is why? Why? Because really, getting the deal that everybody universally loves around here wouldn't take a smokescreen. It would just take Chris Middleton getting paid the buttload of cash that he got paid to go back, Brook Lopez getting paid to go back to Milwaukee, and then Milwaukee not wanting to forge ahead into the luxury tax and saying, okay, this is enough, somebody has to go, and the odd man out is going to be Malcolm Brogdon. So yeah, I do. I firmly believe until I hear otherwise. And one of these days we'll get the opportunity to ask. And that's one good thing. I shouldn't say one good thing. That is a good thing about Kevin is I ask and he answers. Even on that day when we were non-specific and it sounded like we were having some kind of junior high conversation. We had felt that if Bojan didn't come back, then all of a sudden that need, that want in the backcourt of Ricky Rubio would disappear, and that appears to be the case. Now, I also heard this. A lot of you out there that are saying, you know what about Middleton? What about Tobias Harris? Like I've always said, most of these guys, when asked, don't even end up giving interviews. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And that was the case with both Middleton and with Tobias Harris, from what I hear. The Pacers reach out and they had zero interest. But, look at the cash that they got to return to their teams. But I wouldn't necessarily call this plan B. I just think in this whirlwind that is free agency and how it's done, that you just have to be prepared for everything. Hell, it was years ago, right? It was DeAndre Jordan. He was all set to leave, and then teammates came with him and, oh, please come back. We love you. And then he went back. You have to be prepared for everything. And I'm assuming that the Pacers were prepared for everything. The Pacers were prepared to, hey, listen, we want this guy back, but somebody else is going to give him a lot of money. And that kind of explained the way Kevin Pritchard told us about, well, if you got a three, that is a pure shooter, you want somebody that's going to be able to, to find him all the time. More of a playmaker so that you can find the shot maker type of deal. And, in not so many words said, if it's not, they're going to have to find somebody else that can do a variety of things really good. Shoot the basketball, score the basketball. That is something that Brogdon does. I honestly think that Jeremy Lamb was a part of the equation, or at least a part of the thought the entire time. I do. I think Lamb was there, and then I think Bojan wasn't. I think they had their sights set on Bojan. If he did return, that was going to be Rubio. But listen, I think everybody right there as a Pacer fan right now is incredibly happy about how all this transpired. Because I was right there with you. Remember the day when they dropped in the rumor about Rubio and we kind of sat here in silence for a couple of seconds? And it's tough to explain to me, a guy that you have to go under screens for. I mean, listen, is he a playmaker? I mean, can he find the open guy? Yeah, I mean, he's not the worst shooter in the world, but what's Jeremy Lamb shoot at 3-point wise? About a 35% clip, I think, this past year. But there are a lot of variables, and we're going to go over them all today. I mean, I think that it was a tremendous move. I think there's another one certainly on the way, but I thought it was a tremendous move. And really, I think it worked out, and we'll see how things go. I think that Brogdon, as long as he can remain healthy, and that's where we start right there with the whole foot situation, but as long as he can remain healthy, I think he and Vic in the backcourt fit really well. Again, depending upon Vic coming back and being Vic again. I think you should have a more inspired type of play from Jeremy Lamb. I think he's a good shooter, but, I mean, the whole Charlotte thing kind of had to wear you out just a little bit. I mean, Chad Buchanan, I think, before he came here was in Charlotte. I don't know if did they overlap? You'd have to check that out when Buchanan was in Charlotte, if he and Lamb overlapped. I think that they did. I'm guessing that they did. So there was probably some profound thought put into that. But you do get a guy that can do a lot of things. And you add it to a lineup that now gets younger. You add it to a lineup where you guys see that they're locked in a little bit longer. And I think everybody loved the fact that this group, and again, it's great to talk about this, but it's even better to talk about that when you also win or advance in the postseason. Yeah, I just don't have a lot to criticize. If I wanted to criticize some things, I don't know if it's a straight criticism as much as it is kind of a hope that the injuries aren't, a major situation, because it wasn't load management for him. This was straight injury stuff. It was straight foot injury. How does he play not playing off of guys like Antetokounmpo and Middleton? I think that's fair to ask. But look at this, great. See, this is what I have to do all the time, is turn this stupid thing down, for the love of Pete. Sorry. I have to hit it 19 times. Can we go ahead and mute? It said mute right here. Thanks. Numbnuts. Anyway, I mean, there's some pros and cons to it, but I think the pros far outweigh. I'm going to tell you, if you have to turn on a dime going one way or the other, and I think you probably find out, and you find out well before, that Milwaukee is going to end up bringing back Chris Middleton, and they go, well, this guy's not going to be able to go back. We want to secure him here as a restricted free agent. So we'll go ahead and make sure Milwaukee wants to get something in return so they don't completely lose him. So here's a protected first rounder and a couple of second rounders, which they did secure back in the draft. So that makes a lot more sense now to those that thought that they erred in judgment and not drafting guys in the second round. It was used for flexibility, and that flexibility was utilized yesterday. But if you're asking me how this is going to work out, I really couldn't tell you how ultimately it's going to work out just yet, but I do like it, and I certainly like it better than the other. I find it really hard to really locate anything that is incredibly wrong with it. I mean, can you imagine for a moment if we're sitting here, everybody would be excited if Bojan came back. And Bojan probably fits fine in Utah. I mean, what's their lineup? They're going to have Mitchell and Bogdanovich and Ingles and Gobert. Who am I missing out of that starting five right there? Mike Conley, who was just there. So, yeah, I mean, he'll probably fit in fine there. He was a great fit here. But you get younger. You certainly get rejuvenated. And you have a number of things you have to look at. I mean, the health moving forward, the health of Vic, whether or not longer term that Sabonis and Turner can play together often. If that is a detriment, are you going to have to make a deal at some point during the season next year? Because I don't think there's going to be anything done now. But truth be told, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was a good day, comparatively speaking, and I want to talk to you about it at 239-1070. Email address is JMV at 1070thefan.com. Malcolm Brogdon was the guy that we discussed just a little bit, but thought maybe because of his restricted free agent status and, maybe the fact that Chris Middleton would have bailed out of there, that might be an impossibility, but it did come to fruition. And true story, I remember Jeremy Lamb, at UConn? I remember Jeremy Lamb for a moment at OKC. I don't remember much at all at Jeremy Lamb of Charlotte, other than he is a noted shooter, 6'5". He's got what they call length. So I do get all that. I mean, you created flexibility in draft night by securing T.J. Warren for basically nothing, just some cash. And then you gave up a couple of second rounders and secured the flexibility of a what-if situation if Bojan decided to bolt or if you didn't want to pay him what somebody else wanted to pay him. So, you talk about some long-term thinking right here. That was it. That's good. We'll see how it works out. But I'm not going to give too much of an argument about it right now. Hey, listen, even everybody that is in love with the whole net situation right now, there's still a lot of doubt there. There's going to be a lot of doubt and heavy payment there. And I'm sure it's going to work out and championships will come, but, you got a guy that thought he was going to a great situation in Boston and basically crapped all over that thing. And then another guy coming off a ruptured Achilles. I'm assuming everything will work out grand. Everything will work out great, but that's going to be interesting. Look at Golden State. Basically, they bring in somebody. I'm assuming you bring in somebody to deal somebody at some point, but you bring in D'Angelo Russell. You're going to run around and score, and you're going to add to the guys they already have, kind of like that run around and score. Meanwhile, we wait regarding Kawhi Leonard. Certainly that is the big one floating around. If there is any team that you feel incredibly good about at the elite level, and because they were a bounce or two away in the postseason, is Philadelphia. Because Jimmy Butler seemed to be a pain in the ass. You get rid of Jimmy Butler and not get rid of him, but he goes to Miami. You do get something in return there. And in the process, we'll see how it works out. You sign Al Horford, who is, kind of like the Thaddeus Young of your locker room, and also was a chief nemesis, one of the better guys to match up against Joel Embiid. And now he's on your team. So you lose Reddick and you lose Butler. You re-sign Harris to already Simmons and Embiid. And you bring in Al Horford. You get Josh Richardson from the Heat. So that makes some sense, and that's the reason why you kind of look at them and say, yeah. I mean, along with Milwaukee, and I'm sure Boston's going to be there with Kemba Walker. Boston just apparently got Enes Kanter. So I'm sure that's going to help them. They're going to have a problem scoring for sure. You got Walker and Tatum and Brown. So Boston looks pretty good. As I mentioned, Milwaukee's still in it. I don't know about Miami and Jimmy Butler. Man, there was once upon a time Jimmy Butler was just that hard-working guy trying to make it in the NBA in Chicago, and then he kind of he climbed into diva status. Oh, I don't want to play here. Oh, I want to go to Minnesota. I don't want to play here. They're not good enough. They don't play hard enough. Oh, I don't know about it here. We don't have a good cohesion in the locker room. Yeah, we'll see. But I did. I thought it was a good day for the Pacers yesterday. And we'll get the pros and cons from me. There's some out there that didn't like it, but if I were you, I wouldn't be complaining about it. It did kind of sound like, though, and I would agree, a lot of you are saying it sounded like what Kevin Pritchard told you when you were in the backyard in Noblesville a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it did. I would agree. But Malcolm Brogdon instead of Ricky Rubio, holy crap, that's a win-win-win. Can you imagine what we're talking about today if Rubio and it's Bojan, is it anywhere near? I mean, everybody's complaining. And I'm not a hater of Rubio either. I just didn't really get the fact that you're trying to add shooters and scorers, and then you bring in a guy that's not great at either. Good finder. You know, maybe that's going to be the issue. Maybe you do need a finder. More of a finder. And speaking of finder, you're also going to find out a couple of things about an Aaron Holiday. And once and for all, find out, if you don't already know for sure, whether or not TJ Leaf, who is a former first-round selection, can play. And Edmund Sumner is going to get a shot. Can he do more than just score against Atlanta in the final regular season game? So there's a lot to it, and a lot we will discuss at 239-1070. Email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. The rest of the NBA, LA still kind of in neutral right now, waiting. And the Blazers doing some work out west. Yeah, Rodney Hood back. They brought in Ken Bazemore last week. Acquired Hassan Whiteside. They're going to wait till one of the itches come back. In this case, Nurkic. I think he's got an expiring contract anyway. Klay Thompson gets a max deal to stay in Golden State. Yeah, all's quiet for the most part from Houston, just kind of staying the way that they are. They did some minor things. Nothing major. How about a team like Minnesota? A team like Minnesota was banking on D'Angelo Russell ending up there, and that doesn't happen. Or a team like the Clippers, who are still waiting. Clippers, Lakers, Raptors, await a decision. And I'll be completely honest with you. If I'm the Knicks, and here's where there's a difference. If I'm the Knicks and I want to see the health status or the reports, the medicals on Kevin Durant, sure, you're going to be investing a lot of money. Why wouldn't you? And you err on the side of caution. I do understand that. Now, it's kind of weird, the deals they ended up giving to Julius Randle. I think Taj Gibson, Julius Randle, Wayne Ellington, 3. I think there's one more in there, too. But think about this for a moment. It's not so much about wanting to be sure and then backing away from a guy that helped splinter a team and then a guy that's coming off a ruptured Achilles, but it's more about what your owner said. Hey, look out, here it comes. The owner kind of sets the pace for what the fans expect here, and they expected big things, and then you go out and then you kind of decline on much of a chase. And listen, maybe there wasn't a chase going on. Now, maybe it was Brooklyn all the way. But again, you have to hear a great deal about the disaster that is the Knicks, and I can understand why you would want to err on the side of caution there, but the problem that you have is you opened your big yap back in March telling everybody about how great everything's going to be, and you got rid of Porzingis, and here comes the greatness, and this is what you do. And then, by the way, across the river, in a different borough, this is what they're trying to do, so that all looks pretty bad. But frankly, around here, we don't give a crap, which is a damn good thing. But that part is good. But I kind of like it. I like the bits and pieces that they're adding. We'll see what can happen with it. Some people are asking me about the 3 right now. I'm assuming the 3 right now, you try to slot Warren in there to see if he can do it. I guess Jeremy Lamb is going to be an option there. Once Vic gets back, that's my assumption. And I still don't think they're done. And frankly, I don't know who it's going to be. I saw Seth Curry ended up in Dallas. So I don't know who it's going to be. They have, $4.5 million still in that neighborhood to spend? But again, there's a lot you're going to have to find out. Medically, sustainability, and then guys rotationally if they can just make it. Where are we on the big board here, by the way? Did you keep track of me last week? Let me get Kyle on here really quick. And by the way, as it stands right now, and Corey Joseph got, $12 million a year? You know we're talking about a dude, and I like Corey Joseph. How much did he get? Did he get 12? Nah, not 12 a year. Is it less than that? What did he get a year in Sacramento? I thought it was like 3 years and $12 million per for Corey Joseph. Corey Joseph, as much as I like him, that dude didn't hit a shot for a month.
3 years, $37 million with the Kings.
He did not hit a shot in a month. And that's what he got. Not a shot. So that'll tell you the overall value of a backcourt guy. And the overall value, if you look at that, they overpaid for Brogdon. That's just what they're worth. Look how much Corey Joseph got. A guy that didn't hit a shot in a month. It is incredible. And by the way, too, the expiring contract guys, there's a big fat 0 on the board right now, those guys. And I thought if it was going to be any of them, it was going to be Bojan, and that is that. Thad got a deal in Chicago. A lot of you were asking me why, maybe if he was going to be coming off the bench there, why couldn't the Pacers get something done here? I think that the years of having Young being sometimes he'll knock in an awkward-looking left-handed 3, those were over. What did I say about Lance? The ship has sailed. It is for a completely different reason, but that ship had just kind of sailed. He's a great guy. Great guy. Fantastic while he was here. So, coming off the bench, he got paid one final time. It wasn't going to happen here. So he goes to Chicago. All right, a big offer as far as the expiring contract guys here. How did I do on the big board on Wednesday?
So you nailed KD and Kyrie to the Nets.
Boom.
Kawhi, we don't know yet. You think he's going to the Raptors.
Still out.
Butler, you said the Rockets.
The Rockets.
Got that wrong.
Wrong.
Kemba Walker, you got right.
Right.
Boston.
I got 3 right.
D'Angelo Russell, you said Minnesota. Horford, you said was going to the Clippers. And
So
Cousins hasn't signed yet.
So I'm 3 and 4 out of the ones that we named. So I got 4 losses,
Yep.
right? I'm standing at 4 losses and 3 wins. I tell you what, that's better than I thought. And again, you can just kind of follow the scent a little bit on some of that, though. It's not like there was no huge proclamations that I made, and it turned out to be accurate. Okay. You follow the scent of Durant and Irving going to Brooklyn. The more and more I think about Jimmy Butler and how I thought that he would go to Houston, I don't think very many people thought he would end up in Miami. But going to Houston, you think about that and how he's a me guy now. I want accolades. I'm a me guy, and how that might fit in with other me guys. Their guys are me guys. So, trying to think back on that probably wasn't a great call. All right, tell you what, let me take a break and come back. Thomas, I'm going to leave with you. Greg, with you at 239-1070. Email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. I will put something out there on Twitter a little bit later on to see how you feel about it. Oh, you guys wanted a full show on Rubio. A full show on Rubio. I'm telling you, you just can't roll it out. And these guys, think about that for a moment. You reach out to both Middleton and to Harris, and they decline interviews. Wouldn't that just piss you off? I mean, really. I'm sorry. I mean, Middleton, I know Middleton's a hard. They both are, but, you know, maybe they both end being the difference in championships or not. But, my God, Tobias Harris has been on how many different damn teams? What, Orlando, Detroit, the Clippers, and he's been on 4 damn different teams. Well, I'm sorry. Maybe it would waste their time. Seems like you got a great deal of time to waste. All right, quick one, and we'll come back. We got stuff to give away. I haven't seen anything yet today. No, I don't think so. We're done this week. I'll tell you where I'm going to be tomorrow. We're going to have a short week, too, because we're off the 4th and the 5th. Hey, by the way, too, did you watch the Reds and the Cubs this weekend? Man, if the Reds could only play the Cubs year-round, we might have something going here. What are they, 6-3 this year against the Cubs, the Reds? I need the Reds to play the Cubs every game. Can anybody get that done? Where's Rob Manfred? Can you get that done, Rob? Every game. But my guys always have to make it interesting, like last night, getting Iglesias in there. Everybody gets up, and you're right there, and then Hayward goes yard for a 3-run yacker. But, I mean, the Cubs did the same thing. Top half of the inning, the Cubs let everybody in through the back door of scoring late. Players decline interviews is business. Nothing more coming in on that. No, really? I'm sorry. No, what it does here is when everybody complains about how you didn't go out and get this guy and that guy, I'm giving you the real deal here, all right? A lot of this guy and that guy don't have any interest in talking to the guys here. Happens more times than you know. Quick one, and we'll come back. Thomas and Greg lead us on the other side next.
Quit eating your burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Follow your instincts to B-Dubs for the new All-American Cheeseburger. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. And knock that baby down with a frosted beer at the bar. Just like the sports gods intended. The new All-American Cheeseburger at Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Please drink responsibly.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122, or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
And you got to make sure that you got the cool and comfort on the inside. JMV here for 1 hour heating and air conditioning. I was just thinking about this the other day. Can be an issue this time of year, especially. I told you we were going to get some summer back in here, and summer decided to knock down the front door, and all of a sudden you realize that your cooling unit is not ready for prime time. That is a problem. What do? You contact my friends at 1 hour heating and air conditioning, have them come out. They'll make sure everything is running okay, and if you need something done right, They can fix it for you, and they bring the gear and they bring the equipment in case, well, something is necessary to fix right there. You don't have to go back to the shop or the warehouse to get anything. They're ready to take care of any issue right then and right there. Two things, too. You want the cool and the comfort on the interior, and you don't want to be robbed blind by the lack of execution from your HVAC unit, meaning the efficiency going out the window. You don't want it. 1 hour heating and air conditioning is exactly what you want. That's 844-1-HOUR. 844-1-HOUR, the professionals at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning.
Need air conditioning service or a new air conditioner from an American Standard dealer you can trust, like Marshall Home Comfort Solutions in Franklin? Visit IndyHomeComfort.com today.
I had prostate cancer.
A PSA may have saved his life.
Ask your doctor about preventive screenings. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Greg Oden is in town. What was that like, having to constantly go through procedure after procedure and then not be 100%?
I'm okay. I just kept figuring out how to better myself. Now I got a beautiful baby girl who told me, Daddy, I don't want you to hurt your knees again.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings, 7 to 10. Only on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
There's one thing I've learned in all my years. Sometimes you gotta say,
The Ride with JMV on 1070 The Fan.
Pacers, Malcolm Brogdon. Pacers, Jeremy Lamb to add with TJ Warren. And we'll see what else. I saw somebody just drop me that the Pacers, among like 19 other teams, are looking for rotational guys, and they're looking at free agent point guard TJ McConnell right now. But there's a list of like 19 teams, including the Lakers. I'm telling you, here's the one thing that you notice, all right? In the all-knowing world that is, well, NBA-wise, Adrian Wojnarowski, there cannot be a group, a team, a crew as buttoned up and as tight-lipped as Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Wojnarowski finds out everything. And there hadn't been a damn peep about Leonard. Have you seen a peep about Leonard? Not a peep. Not a peep.
I just saw that he's not taking meetings today. He's going to start taking meetings in a couple days. So he's taking his time.
Oh, here we go again. We just got to do that because I've shut this thing off 19 times. I'm sick of it. God, I'm sick of this stupid-ass phone. How many times do I got to do it? Let's see here. Let's turn it all the way down and then make sure it's off. And then every knucklehead, it's only been 15 stinking years since I've done this. Stop calling. You know, unfortunately, though, whatever happened to the time when we were on a no-call list? You know how much of this bull crap I get in the afternoon is it's some recorded call, and then they ask for the wrong, somebody's just some random name, and then you get put on there? What happened to that? Is there another list I need to get on now? JMV at 1070thefan.com. JMV, I'd say hell no to giving Middleton $35 million a year. Can you imagine? Is he worth twice as much as Bogdanovich? JMV, you think it's time for the Pacers to extend Sabonis? You're going to have to before you think about trying to get anything that he's going to be worth out of him. I wouldn't say now, but at some point, like everybody says, well, you got to trade Sabonis right now. You're going to have to extend him if you want to get something out of him. What's he get right now? $4 million? The hell, $4 million is going to get you TJ McConnell. Maybe. JMV, do you think the combo of Brogdon and Lamb is better than Rozier by himself? I'm not all on board on Rozier. Sorry. Losing Bojan, they needed scoring and shooting, it seems like they got it. I mean, a great example. Would you rather have Brogdon over obviously Rubio? Would you rather have Brogdon over Rozier?
Oh, not even a question.
I didn't even think twice about that last night, to be honest with you. Man, I have. Honestly, J-Law, I put it on Do Not Disturb. I don't know, all of a sudden it just starts firing off again. Yeah. James Jones sends me this. Thoughts on the remaining free agents: Danny Green, Wes Matthews, JaMychal Green. We thought JaMychal Green maybe was a fit. James Ennis is another guy. I don't know. What if I say, and I don't know how much these guys get, JaMychal Green, James Ennis would be one. I mean, Noah Vonleh, not just because he went to IU for a second. So I gave you 3. And clearly, James, TJ McConnell, somebody they're looking at right now. All right, 239-1070. We're going to see right now how you really feel. Let's Thomas lead us here. How are you, Thomas? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm doing great, JMV. How are you doing?
Great, Thomas.
I had a newborn son recently, and I wasn't exactly on board with the first name that my wife was giving him because we were like so undecided. Not funny, but after we named him and I'm sitting there calling him, I'm thinking like, wait a minute. My son's initial is JVM, and his middle name is Vincent. Isn't that interesting?
Well done. That is well done right there.
So I like it. I like it now that it matches yours, even though it's not the same sequence, still the same initials.
Okay, I'm all for it, man. Anything keeps my name out there, and especially with those that are smarter than me. Go ahead. Like you guys are.
Yeah, just a couple quick questions. So basically, we traded for Warren, which basically had scored the same amount of points as the guy we lost.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought in a point guard and like a shooting guard, small forward combination, which each scored about 15 points a game. And that goes with Sabonis and Miles Turner. Outside of that, what else do we have outside of obviously the center draft pick that we brought in? What do we have that is already on the team, or what we could bring in to make us better?
I mean, I think here's the way that it looks right now. I mean, right now you got Brogdon, and once Oladipo is healthy, Oladipo, and I'm assuming Warren, maybe Lamb in there. I'm going to assume Warren right here, and then you're going to have Miles, and you're going to have Sabonis. And we'll see how that goes. And if Lamb's on the pine, you're going to have Lamb. And then you got to hope that Aaron Holiday is going to be able to do something. And, obviously they're going to add somebody. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be somebody like a James Ennis or JaMychal Green or a TJ McConnell has been mentioned, somebody like that. And then you got to hope that, as I mentioned, Holiday and Leaf and certainly to a point, Edmund Sumner give you something rotationally speaking. And there you go.
So you think that the last 3 names that you mentioned, along with the center draft pick, well, here's my question then. The last 3 guys you mentioned, the bench players,
yes.
Are those guys good enough to go with who we now know is on the team to make us very formidable? And what do you think?
Here's what I think I know. I think I know that Aaron Holiday is going to be. I certainly have a great deal of deeply rooted question regarding TJ Leaf. And I think right now I probably feel, even though I shouldn't, there's not much evidence to it, but maybe feel a little bit better about, Sumner being able to do more than Leaf. But frankly, with the way this team is made up, bench-wise, you absolutely have to have these guys. You have to have these guys be able to do something, give you minutes, give you playing time. And Thomas, some people would argue that should have been given to a couple of them even more a year ago, talking about both Leaf and Holiday. But I have a firm belief that Holiday is going to be fine. The other 2, I'm not so sure.
Okay, so what do you think the center is going to do? Do you think he's going to be the starter over Miles Turner and let Miles Turner?
No, I mean, Sabonis is going to be out there, and Miles is going to be out there. 4 and 5, 5 and 4, something like that. Yeah.
So do you think the center is going to be a big star for us, or is that someone that we're going to look forward to?
Listen, I don't know. I've been wanting to see this whole experiment, at least in a broader form, for a while. So unlike a lot of folks out there who absolutely hate it and are against it right now, I don't so much mind it because I think they're talented players. And I think that's what we're looking at here, more than just position numbers. They are talented players that they're trying to get and keep on the floor. We just haven't seen it at great length, which clearly we're going to have to see this year. So, yeah.
Okay, so one final question. If there is a position, like a roster position, as far as like point guard, shooting guard, whatever. You said we'd probably bring in at least one more guy. What position do you think that would be?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like the three names I gave were a couple of versatile 6'8" guys and then a scrappy 6'1" point guard. So I think I mentioned Vonleh too. Goes about 6'10". I don't know. Not a lot of it makes sense to me right now, to be honest. But I just threw some names out there. One of which has been mentioned, McConnell. The others I haven't heard mentioned.
So basically, we still have the opportunity to bring in another player.
I think they got $4.5 million. I think to bring in somebody else here and see what can happen. Hey, Thomas, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Man, I'm going to put this son of a gun on airplane mode right now. But what happens if somebody else calls me? See, look, like I'm old man needing smartphone 101. Will I still get calls on airplane? I don't get text either? See, I can't do that, can I? What happens if somebody calls and I need to know? Not sit some jackwad sitting around some automated phone. Oh, hi, we are reaching out to you today. Hello, is this John? Okay. JMV, I don't know if I feel playoffs for this team. Pacers 19 probable starting lineup. Brogdon, Lamb, Warren, Sabonis, Turner, Aaron Holiday, Goga, Leaf, McDermott. I left Goga and McDermott off of that too because he's on there too. Listen, I have a little bit of trust in this. I do. I have a little bit of trust in this, and then I have a lot more trust than a lot of you have in Oladipo coming back and being good to go. I don't want to say quicker because I don't want to suggest out there that he's going to be back in mid-December or anything like that. But I will say this, from what I had heard up until 2 weeks ago was completely opposite to kind of the way that the Pacers are handling it. And I think they have to handle it that way. I think you give out the worst case scenario. I think Kevin was giving out the worst case scenario. Here's what it is at its worst. But I'm telling you, a couple of weeks ago, I heard that he was well ahead of schedule. I'm not trying to blow sunshine up your rear end right here. I'm just not. But I can see where they were going, and they got younger in the process. And seemingly you can have these guys around for a longer period of time. I mean, if they would have just kind of gone with what they had and tried to bring back the band again, would you have been more appreciative of that effort or what they, I'm assuming in this case, were forced into? Or I don't want to say forced. That sounds like this is a plan B, and I don't think this is a plan B because I think this worked out better than plan A for the Pacers, if that was plan A. I just think that it was an option. And I don't think you know your options until a lot of these gaps are filled, until you find out that Bojan is going to get a hell of a lot more than you want to pay him, until you find out that Chris Middleton is going to get a hell of a lot more than what you thought. And then you find out that the Bucks are bringing back Lopez. I mean, there was questions there. So they bring back Lopez, they bring back Middleton, and you don't want to go into the luxury tax, so the Pacers pounce on that immediately. Maybe that ended up being plan A. Maybe that was it. We would rather do this, and now we know we have to do this, so, all right, we'll just go ahead and let Bojan get his money in Salt Lake City. Maybe that's how it turned out. But at least there's no tampering. And it's incredible that you guys, the amount of turnaround time. Listen, I can't find how to mute my phone in 5 minutes, but you move from one deal to the other in 5 minutes. It's amazing. Like literally 5 minutes it would take me to, wait a minute, how do I get this to stop ringing? Quick on the other side, Greg, Mike, Todd, Joe, J. Michael is going to join us at 5. We'll turn loose a little anything goes at the 5 o'clock hour too. Back with you next.
8th Annual Tom Doggett Memorial Golf Outings presented by Franciscan Health Cancer Center, Monday, July 15th at Golf Club of Indiana. Register your team at 1070thefan.com.
Diamonds Direct's once-a-year store-wide ring sale is coming. Next weekend, July 12th through 14th. Get extra savings on virtually every ring. Engagement rings, wedding bands, eternity bands, 3 stone rings, thousands of rings on sale. Lowest prices of the year and special financing up to 48 months. Top ring designers are flying in truckloads of the hottest new styles. Just released at the Vegas Jewelry Show. Fashion rings, colored stone rings, stackable rings, all included. Diamonds Direct's annual summer ring sale. Next weekend, July 12th through 14th. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Keystone at the Crossing.
Thinking about getting an in-ground pool this summer? Dan Dockage for Family Leisure. You have got to check out the 16 by 32 in-ground pool special they're running for under $40,000. This 16 by 32 in-ground pool includes all the equipment, the concrete decking, and the entire pool and the installation. I went to Family Leisure for my own in-ground pool, and I got to tell you, I love it. They're pros, and they make the whole process easy. In-ground pool sale going on right now at Family Leisure. Tell them I sent you.
Hey, it's JMV for Connecticut Water, the absolute best. Here's what I want you to do this summer. If you don't have Connecticut Water, you don't have the best water, and I want you to have the best water. So right now, take $1,500 off your whole home solution here. Premier Series Water Softener, K5 Drinking Water Station, Leak Detection System. Thank you, Joe, John, and Dennis from Connecticut Water. With the 2 locations, Northeast Side, Castleton, South Side, US 31 and South Port Road. What an amazing summertime deal. You hear from me and find it online, ConnecticutIndy.com today.
Don't miss the summer's biggest sporting event. It's the 25th running of the Indiana Derby at Indiana Grand Racing and Casino, Saturday, July 13th. Meet and greet this year's chairperson, Jeff Saturday, 6-time Pro Bowl center and Super Bowl champion, with more than $1 million in stakes races and $2,500 mega bets up for grabs. Be one of the first 2,500 and receive a free 25th anniversary Derby tee. Gates open at 3 p.m., free parking and free general admission for all ages. Visit IndianaGrand.com for exclusive Derby packages and all the details. The excitement never ends at Indiana Grand Racing and Casino, just off I-74, exit 109, Shelbyville. Presented by Caesars Entertainment.
Must be 18 or older to wager on horse racing at racetracks and 21 or older to gamble at casinos. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free on select in-stock tires. Details in store. Offer good through July 7th. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Mortgage interest rates continue to drop, and we are back to those historic low levels. You have a lot more buying power. Let's get you pre-approved now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Hey, Dan Doggett here. Join me tomorrow. We're going to talk a lot of hoops. We're also going to talk to Mike Chappell. And, of course, we're going to have to decide whether or not we think the Pacers did well and the Colts as well. Join me tomorrow.
The Ride with JMV.
Oh, wait just a minute. Didn't anybody knock anymore?
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Hey, Jay Michael's going to be in here at 5. Ask him about how quickly he felt that thing turned on a dime. And whether or not it's, and I'm not saying A or B, because to me, if Brogdon was a B scenario, if Brogdon was a B scenario, I'd rather have that than the Rubio A. Like, I'll be honest with you, I like what, and I'm including TJ Warren in this too, I like the trio of Brogdon, Lamb, and Warren more than I do the duo of Rubio and Bogdanovich. And by the way, for those of you that are asking, we had Bobby Marks on a couple of weeks ago. The Pacers still have around $5 million, maybe a little bit under, somewhere in that neighborhood of cap space. And they still have the $4.8 million room exception. Is that true? So $5 million in cap space and then $4.8 in a room exception is what they have right now. Somebody had asked me that. I thought I'd give it to them. Because I'm just your full service freaking show here. Hey, by the way, too, I got to thank Tony and everybody down at the Four Winds Lakeside Inner Marina. My wife and I went down there Friday and Saturday, and it was a blast. Great couple of days down there. I did not get out on a boat, but I did eyeball enough where our Backyard Bourbon broadcast, everybody's invited. The final one of the summer is going to be, and you guys are going to love it. Love it. I'm going to get me down there to do the show. I'm going to get DJ Skids down there to play some tunes, and it is going to be a blast. But I scouted out. JMV. Now, the current NBA free agency period has revealed the arrogance of both the Lakers and the Clippers. They went into this thinking because they're in Hollywood, all the big-name free agents would come begging for their offers. L.A. is not the destination it once was. The Lakers and Clippers are complete garbage. Yeah, I would have to disagree with that. I mean, you got these guys have to do a hell of a lot here. I mean, a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot. That think about the Lakers for a moment. I mean, they have tripped over their blank the entire time. The entire time, and they still are in the running for Kawhi Leonard and to have the guys on the team while tripping over their blank endlessly. You trip over it here, and you're gonzo for about a 5-year stretch. If you're lucky. It's not nearly the same playing field. Not close. All right, Greg's on line 2 at 239-1070. Greg, hello.
Hey, JMV, long-time listener, long-time Pacer fan, and season ticket holder. How are you today?
That is wonderful, Greg. Thank you for the call.
Couple thoughts. I mean, we talk about the new guys, and I couldn't be more pleased with who they are and what they bring and the youth this team is going to have. But I tell you what, it's still kind of hard for me to see Thaddeus, Corey Joseph, Darren Collison leave. I don't know anybody that played harder with the talent that they have and the heart that they showed every game. They kept the Pacers in the running throughout, and I still think they were better than Boston in the playoffs, although the results didn't come to fruition.
Yeah, I think the results would argue with you, Greg, right there, buddy. They would.
Well, they may, but I want to say I think Pritchard's a genius, and I have a lot of confidence. I think Nate McMullen is an outstanding coach, as he showed last year. He can pull different talent together and get them playing together as a team with great attitudes, use his minutes wisely. And I think they're going to have a lot of options. They got 6 double-digit scorers, and he's going to find the right combination. And I think the big they got in the draft is going to be a really interesting pick for them, and I think he's going to be outstanding. And all the talk about who we keep, Sabonis or Miles Turner down the way, hey, don't count this guy out. We'll see what he does and the way he plays and who he plays well with.
Yeah, I think that you're not counting on it like you're going to have to Holiday, and I think to a degree Leaf. You'd certainly, Greg, like to see it. My friend, I appreciate that call. Hey, quickly, I mentioned James Ennis, and there hadn't been a word said. Small forward, 6'7", played with the Sixers last year. Remember, he was in Houston. I don't know what he would want market-wise. I'm just kind of tossing names out there. I think Ennis was one. I think I put Vonleh in there, too. I don't really know why I put Vonleh in there, but just it seems like he got enough. He kind of qualifies as big category, right?
Both the Morris brothers are free agents, but you might not have enough money for either one of them.
Yeah, I would think. I think if you got to take one, you got to go the other, don't you? I tell you what, Marcus Morris, I thought you could make an argument that he was one of the more important players on that Boston team this year. Make the argument. Ennis is 28 years old, I think, too. Mike's on line 3. Mike, go ahead. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Fantastic, Bob. Go ahead. Mike, go ahead. Sorry, whatever your name is.
You got some guy you call a man with 2 brains, right?
Yeah, it is P. Dinwiddie down there, yeah.
Is Pritchard's a man with 3 brains now?
I don't know. It's just kind of an inside joke I have from. Why do you say that? Because you like what he did? Is that what you're saying?
I he keeps pulling a rabbit out of his hat because you got to admit, the last couple of weeks, everybody was, pretty gloom and doom about what was going to happen.
I thought he did a really good job. Hey, I'm going to let you finish here. Adrian Wojnarowski reports that Edmund Sumner has agreed to a 3-year deal with the Pacers. So that goes from, hey, you know what? And you're kind of hoping now you got to get something from him. Don't you think? Rotationally now, you got to get something from him off the bench. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think really the only other piece they need to add, you need a lunch pail big. You need maybe a little bit of a veteran presence that's going to rebound and play some defense. Because you got to find out if Johnson can play. You got to find out if Leaf can play. But I think you're going to have some interesting lineups coming up. And we've got some height in the backcourt now that we didn't have, which was a problem. And, you can play Brogdon. Brogdon's going to play some heavy minutes. And you can play him at shooting guard in the second unit with Holiday as a point guard. Or Sumner and Holiday together, because we're kind of getting back into that combo guard limbo that we were in the Bird years. But if you follow what I'm saying,
yeah, I tell you what, Mike, I got to run here at the top of the hour, but you call back anytime. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Call anytime. I don't know if we're getting it's not just to be in a combo. You just got combo players. Like we're in a time right now where it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're just out there being a player. And I think that's what you're talking about there, Mike. Wesley Matthews is not on the team, Jennifer. Edmund Sumner, 3 years. So now rotational minutes will be necessary. Quick one, Joe Todd on the other side. Jay Michael coming up at 5. Anything goes at 5:30. Anybody out there disagree with the path the Pacers have taken? Get back to you in your disagreement and more next.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Greg Oden is in town. What was that like, having to constantly go through procedure after procedure and then not be 100%?
I'm okay. I just kept figuring out how to better myself. Now I got a beautiful baby girl who told me, Daddy, I don't want you to hurt your knees again.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings, 7 to 10. Only on FM 107.5 at 1070 The Fan.
At 1 Hour, we stand behind our work, and I mean for years. Hi, I'm Corey Kreitzberger from 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. If our repair fails in the first 2 years, we'll fix it again for free. Who else can say that? We gladly guarantee our repairs because we know the care that goes into them. Call us at 844-1-HOUR. That's 844-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions apply. License number H0010668.
Hey, Dan Dockage here from my friends at Just Add Water Boats, the only place I know of where you can ride before you buy on Indy's only Test Lake. Listen, if you're in the market for a pontoon, a Crest pontoon is the boat you need. Just Add Water Boats is the dealer that has it. Crest pontoon boats have the luxury, the style, the performance without compromise. These aren't your grandmother's old pontoon boats. I guarantee you that. Tri-tubes are unbelievable. I've been in a Crest pontoon, and they are awesome. Check them out at the boat dealer I trust. Just Add Water Boats are online at justaddwaterboats.com.
When Richard injured his knee working on his Indiana farm 5 years ago, he was prescribed hydrocodone for the pain. He used the medication as directed and stored the remaining unused pills in his bathroom where they were forgotten, until several years later, when his curious 2.5-year-old granddaughter Abigail came for a visit. The toddler innocently found her way into the forgotten corners of the bathroom cabinet. Her mother found her unresponsive near the bathroom door. Before paramedics could arrive, Abigail took her last breath. A casualty of an opioid overdose.
Imagine this without the Office of the Indiana Attorney General going to work on our state's drug problem with programs like the Indiana Drug Takeback that helps keep unused prescription medications out of the wrong hands. Since 2017, nearly 2 tons worth of drugs have been taken off the streets. For more about the efforts put forth by the dedicated employees of the Office of the Indiana Attorney General, go to hereforhoosiers.org.
At the crossroads of America, the Office of the Indiana Attorney General is here for Hoosiers.
Welcome to the Sagamore Club, a private golf club and residential community like no other. Sagamore is inspired by golf's time-honored values and traditions. Just recently, Sagamore was recognized as one of the area's top private clubs, as the Jack Nicklaus signature design was rated the number 10 course in Indiana by Golf Digest. In addition to its award-winning course, the club features numerous amenities for members and guests, including upscale casual dining, swimming, tennis, fitness facility, and an active social calendar. Sagamore offers a place where your home can be created just for you by one of the area's finest custom builders. Set up an appointment to experience the Sagamore Club. Start your journey in making your dream home a reality today. Call 776-2500, 776-2500. Sagamore Golf Club and Community in Noblesville between State Road 37 and I-69. Sagamore, your club, your home.
Just a fantastic time to get into a fantastic ride. Hey, it's JMV for Indiana's Best. It's Andy Bohr, Toyota in Avon, 5 miles west of 465 on US 36. So Ben and Robert have told me the most popular vehicles on the lot, kind of easy to find, even though they're that popular. One being the SUV known as the RAV4. I've seen a lot more of those on the highway, too. People love them, and you got great prices on a 2019 RAV4 going on right now. You can go on or off-road, and there is room for you and the entire family. The Highlander also in the SUV category will get the job done, and really, so will the sales and the service staff, led by Ben and Robert at Indiana's Best. Tell them both that I sent you to Andy Moore Toyota in Avon, 5 miles west of 465 on US 36.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust, like B&W Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Celebrate the 4th with a Major League Baseball doubleheader. Thursday at 3:30 on FM 107.5, The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I want to tell you buttholes something. This is way out of line.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. Great Independence Day, 4th of July week coming up for you, too. Hopefully a lot of you have days off. We'll be off Thursday and Friday around here. I'm going to be down at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Can I call it that? How much longer is it Bankers Life Fieldhouse? When does that officially end? I'm going to be down at the Fieldhouse for a watch party tomorrow. We're watching the U.S. women. Thank you very much. FIFA Women's World Cup semifinal against Anglin, as they say in Southern Indiana. Anglin. And you can come down there and watch, too. There's free admission. Players from the Indy 11 and the Fever. I will say this last night. This is not normally how I start out segments, but I was watching the U.S. men and the Gold Cup thing. They're playing Curacao, which is about the size of Plainfield. It's inspiring as the women have looked and normally are. You talk about a half-assed, uninspired effort by these dudes. And I know that I'm wrong, and I don't know enough to be throwing this around, and I shouldn't say it. But I don't know if I can watch any more soccer matches with the dudes if Michael Bradley's out there running around. I think I'm over it. That portion of it. I know he's a great passer and a great finder, and he's always thinking ahead and all that, but good Lord. And shouts to Curacao, one of my all-time favorite vacation destinations, too. Curaçao's awesome. They have blue Curacao, which is great to drink, and especially in mixed drinks. It's a Dutch island in the southern Caribbean, so they have a great deal of Amstel Light and Amstel, which is great. And they have some nude beaches, which can be a crapshoot, because normally on nude beaches, unfortunately, and ladies know this too, it's always the people that you don't want to see naked that are naked, and always the ones that you do want to see naked have clothes on. That's just the way that it is. Nude beaches, nudist camps. I mean, anybody that goes to a nudist camp, you're there because nobody wants to see you naked, yet you want to show everybody what you got, even though nobody wants to see it. Works the same way with nude beaches. But it was pretty awesome. I love Curacao. I watched the entire damn match last night. And you talk about an uninspired second half. Or at least that's what it seemed. I think they had like 3 shots on goal. Their goalie was good, though. So, Edmund Sumner is signed. They had $5 million to play with, so we're assuming that some amount of money was taken there. And it's been reported that maybe they have interest in TJ McConnell. So if not TJ McConnell, let's look at like TJ McConnell players. Don't joke around about this because we're trying to figure out how they're going to end up maybe spending what else they have. This is an assumption here. Give me some like TJ McConnell contract type of dudes out there. Give me some likes. You got any like TJ McConnell?
It sounds like they're looking for another point guard.
Okay.
So Tyus Jones is out there. Shelvin Mack. Let's see.
We're just guessing here, too, by the way, just because it's been reported that they have interest in McConnell, and because now you have Sumner, which, 2 guard, small forward-wise would seem to fit the bill there. If he's going to be here for 3 years, the dude's going to have to play.
Jerian Grant. I mean, the list, there's not a lot out there.
Yeah, not a lot out there. Luke Nelson says JMV's coming with some pretty informed. Was it informed? I wanted to sound informed, and I'm here to tell you that I'm not. But I was just watching it last night because I knew I was going to do this event tomorrow, and really I had some interest because, Team USA, and I get all patriotic, but I watch these guys, and they look less interested than I did. I mean, I just thought, especially in the second half. And I've been over Michael Bradley for a long time. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I think he got yelled at by the goalie, too, that last. And they were an incredible save from that Stefan dude away from that thing being even at 1 with Curacao. Again, Curacao is the size of Brownsburg. Not really, but I do love me some Curacao, though. If you're going on a Caribbean destination, that is one you look into right there. We rented a Jeep that said, hey, rent a Jeep and drive around the island. We rented a Jeep, and you're thinking, yeah, they're going to give us a Jeep, and it's going to be a Wrangler, and it's going to be fun. You know what I got? I got an 89 Suzuki Samurai with no floorboard. That's what I got. Hey, we're going to get a Jeep, and it's going to be a Wrangler. We're going to put the top down. It's going to be great. Hey, here's your Suzuki Samurai from 1989 with no floorboard. Okay. There's my Jeep. Good time, though. All right, Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Lamb, in addition to the TJ Warren from a couple of weeks ago, Pacer fans, how you feeling? And as I explained a little bit earlier, this is what my belief is that it came down to is that and again, all this is happening well before 6 o'clock because you simply don't turn on a dime like it. But you either Bogdanovich went way too high above their threshold and they decided to go a different direction. Pleasantly surprised once you find out how much money Milwaukee gave to Chris Middleton, and then to find out early in the day that Brook Lopez was brought back, and then understand that ownership in Milwaukee did not want to go above the luxury tax threshold. Therefore, somebody was going to be the odd man out, and was Malcolm Brogdon. So maybe yesterday late you find out that there is more of an opportunity to secure Brogdon than you had at the beginning of the day. So with that security, you don't just sign him to an offer sheet. You also make a deal and you give up a number 1 protected and a couple of second rounders just to make sure they don't have any seller's remorse and make sure that you get Brogdon, a guy that maybe at the beginning of the day you didn't think. I'm guessing they knew. I just think that At some point, either it was just too much money for Bojan, because if you remember, wherever Kevin Pritchard was talking, he was talking about that they're going to start with Bojan Bogdanovic. I mean, even right here, he said, okay, who's going to be in the backcourt? Who's going to be starting alongside Vic when he's healthy? Well, you tell me who's going to be playing the 3. And really, we don't know who's going to be playing the 3 right now. But when you get the opportunity at a Brogdon, and I think that I bet Jeremy Lamb was already kind of getting interest from them anyway. But no, Bogdanovic means no interest in Rubio. Rubio ends up in Phoenix. Bojan ends up in Utah. And here you get Malcolm Brogdon. And you get Jeremy Lamb to add with TJ Warren. And in the process, you do get younger. So that's the thought. And now you get Edmund Sumner. So Edmund Sumner's going to take away from what remaining $5 million and then a $4.5 million room exception that you had. And they apparently have interest in TJ McConnell, whether or not that's true. So we're kind of looking up light TJ McConnell guys here. So maybe you don't want to just put backup point guard or whatever. Maybe you want somebody that's you can rely on earlier, that's been there and done that more so than just turning that position completely over to Holiday, or maybe adding a little bit more flexibility off the bench. Maybe. That's what I gather right here. JMV. Just bring Quinn back as the 5th big and go get a small forward, easily the worst position on the team. Yeah, I dropped in a guy like James Ennis's name a little bit earlier, but I'd have to think that Sumner in 3 years has ruled that out. Guessing. So Brogdon, Lamb, Warren, Sabonis, and Turner to start. Holiday, Goga, Leaf, McDermott. And then once Vic gets back, how do we feel? How do we feel about that to this point? And you still got a lot of free agency to go. There's still some big names out there. And the cash flow is shrinking. JMV, I'm not opposed to giving Holiday the reins. How else will he grow? And I would agree, he's going to get plenty of clock. But I think you do want some flexibility. JMV, I could not imagine having 3 TJs on the roster. That would be weird. TJ McConnell, TJ Warren, TJ Leaf. JMV, looks like Brogdon, Lamb, and Sumner can play the 1, 2, and 3 positions, so the backcourt will be versatile. But what about rebounding? Right now, Sabonis is the only proven strong rebounder. And that's one thing. You talk about Sabonis has to work on facing up, shooting threes, being more versatile. Miles has to work on board work. Miles is going to have to go off the boards. And in particular, be better on the offensive board. And by being better means relevant when you're on the offensive board, because that does drive me nuts too. Now, again, I've popped the convenient excuse before because I'm a Miles supporter of, hey, when you're going after the shot and you're trying to redirect it or you're trying to affect it, then it's tough to go back up and get the rebound, but you're not doing that offensively. He's got to be a better offensive rebounder. Wesley Matthews has agreed to a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. So Wesley Matthews is going to Milwaukee. Remember, he played collegiately at Marquette. So he's in Milwaukee. So how's that going to work out? He kind of wanted to start. Have they brought back George Hill? How's Milwaukee look right now? They brought back George Hill. They have Wesley Matthews. And that's the work they've done outside of re-sign their own. And obviously they're going to have to max out Antetokounmpo at some point. Brook Lopez. So you subtract. So will Matthews get a chance to start here now?
I think
will Hill come off the bench? Because that was part of the criteria that I was told that he wanted a place that he could start. So do they go, correct me if I'm wrong on this, look at their roster. They go
They've got Bledsoe, probably start with the 1.
Bledsoe, Matthews, Antetokounmpo, Middleton, Lopez?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe that does. I know that they like George Hill coming off the bench, too. Is Connaughton, how long is Connaughton locked up? Connaughton had a breakout season from them this year, too. That Connaughton. JMV, Pee Wee soccer is more interesting than watching the U.S. men's team. I'll tell you what, last night, you talk about just a boring, uninspired second half. That's what I was watching. And then I like it, too, because they turned Landon Donovan loose on him afterwards, and that's always pretty good. That's from Indy Drew. Honestly, the best fit for Indy, in my opinion, is Kelly Oubre. Guy did great after leaving the Wizards' dumpster fire. Long, athletic, young, cheap. I don't know how cheap it's going to be right now. Yeah, with Sumner in there. What are you shaking your head about? What's Milwaukee look like over there? Is that a championship contender?
I don't know.
Are they as good as they were this year without Brogdon in the mix?
No.
Next year?
No.
Joe is at 239-1070. Joe, hello. How are you?
Hey, John, it's Joe.
Hello, Joe.
I'm calling about Brogdon.
Yes.
I think it's a great signing. He's younger, taller, longer, better shooter, and he can probably get his own shot. And those are all things that we've struggled with our point guards. So I think it's a real upgrade in terms of point guards. My question for you has to do with cap space, because how is it that the Pacers don't seem to have any cap space, but teams like the Warriors,
some choose to go over the cap. Some choose to get over the cap, and some also in great situations rely on. I mean, I'll give you a great example with the Lakers. Not only are they already the Lakers, but to try to get another max deal in there, i.e. hoping for Kawhi Leonard, you had Anthony Davis give up $4 million that in his mind he's going to make back up through LeBron James and movie making. So it's
Yeah, but you think of teams like the Warriors, and they had Steph Curry, and they had Thompson, and had Green, and somehow they were able to.
Well, and those teams go over the cap, but they also, they're also going to have decisions. They just maxed out Klay Thompson, and then next year they got Draymond Green, and a lot of people are suggesting because they went out and they ended up with D'Angelo Russell that just may be a half year, and then trade situation for once Thompson comes back. So they're juggling a lot of parts too. But if you're saying that some owners are more willing to go past the salary cap, absolutely. Are some organizations more fortunate because of their location and because of their history? Absolutely. So that's what you're asking.
Have done both Brogdon and Bogey.
No,
because it seemed to me that we probably couldn't.
I don't. Do you think, Kyle? Could they have done Brogdon and Bogey? I don't.
I think they could have if they would have signed Brogdon first, and then I think they can re-sign their own, and it would put them over the cap.
Yeah.
But they could have.
But then they're not going to do it because of what you just said.
Yeah.
So that's it.
The one place where they could probably get it is Doug McDermott. They could probably try to unload him. To me, he doesn't seem like he's worth the paying him.
Well, one would think. See, a lot of people say he shot 40% plus from three, but everybody that watched games knew that it was a complete lack of consequence when he was. When they needed it, he wasn't there. Is what I'm trying to say here. So
he's only a catch and shoot, shooter, and can't create his own shot. Bogey showed he was versatile and he could do some other things, but Dougie.
No, he didn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't what people were looking for. Joe, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. JMV, I get what you're saying about last night's game. It was a little underwhelming, but this young nucleus is a much better team to watch than the team that missed the World Cup. 4-0 in the Gold Cup, 12 goals. They haven't been scored on thus far. Yeah, I thought the goalie was really good. And who's the young dude? Not McKenzie, but the other guy across from him. I like him. Christian, whatever his name is. I'm sorry. I don't come across as Alexi Lawless in my analyst work on soccer. There was not much inspiration in it. And then you get all the inspiration in the world from watching these women play. Clearly. Watching Alex Morgan. But yeah, that was my that was the lack of knowledge soccer take for the day right there, Nicholas. That's from Andrew Bailey. I don't get why people are so excited over the Pacers' moves. Warren, 18 a game. Lamb, 15 a game on terrible teams. Kevin Love went from 26 minutes to 16 on Cleveland. Brogdon, a great pick. But we still don't have a second elite scorer. Meanwhile, Nets, Boston, Philly, Heat all got elite players. I think the Nets are still in a holding pattern. I'd agree with you on Boston. I'd agree with you on Philly. I would disagree with you on Jimmy Butler and the Heat. But, Andrew, I do get what you're saying. I just, for what they ended up with and what could have happened, and I do like Malcolm Brogdon. An elite second scorer. I don't know if you're going to find an elite second scorer, but a better than average second scorer. I do agree with this. There's a lot of unknown in guys because we saw it last year with Tyreek Evans. 19 and a half a game on a bad team. Then he comes here and he stinks. Hey, I got a question for somebody out there about the Pacers last year. And I know that it's very easy to try to just maintain a level of blame on Tyreek Evans. But how much out of the second unit shortcomings, especially that of McDermott, or the disappointment you had, how much of that was just firmly on the shoulders of what you saw from Tyreek Evans? And then if you remember, Nate kind of caved into Tyreek Evans. Hey, I need the ball in my hand more, and it sucked really bad. So how much of that alone, how much of the Tyreek effect was the overall effect on the bench? When you think back on it, there were so many times where you cringed, covered your eyes because it was unwatchable. So with a different group and McDermott still there, can McDermott be better with these guys than, just is he going to be here on time? Is he going to have to be suspended? Or are you going to have a talk or whatever the hell else he's doing? And really the only way you got him motivated for a minute clearly was when you said, all right, we're going to let you be you. And then he was him, and then a lot of him sucked. Is it fair to place blame, or is it too much blame on one guy? Darren Lee Granger says, isn't Miles supposed to be their second elite scorer? See, Darren, why did you have to bring that up? Come on, man. I'm not worthy of that conversation right now. Some Chase Sanders, after weeks of Danny Green, Ricky Rubio, and Terrence Ross rumors to come out on the other side with Lamb and Brogdon seems like a miracle. Can you imagine the conversation we'd be having right now if it would be Bogdanovich and Rubio? Can you imagine? Because there was nobody around here on board, and it's not like that they were gauging the enthusiasm or lack thereof from the fan base here, but there was nobody out there that was digging on it. Nobody. Give me Eric at 239-1070. Eric, go ahead. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jay. Thanks. I'll be quick. I know you got a lot of people. Love the moves. I think when KP was talking earlier, when he got all those second-round picks, and he said he can't discuss, I truly think they were making a move for Brogdon back then. I like Lamb. I think a backup point guard would like T.J. McConnell or even Isaiah Thomas or Jeremy Lin would help. And I think that we desperately need a defensive wing. Who's going to guard the LeBrons and the Giannis? Because that was Thad and that was Bogey. We can't put Warren on them. And then lastly, as far as Nate and Tyreek, I mean, that's just one of those things that you can't plan for. But the problem I saw with the bench is nobody on the bench was a true point guard, and that's what I think we need this year.
Hey, Eric, hold on one second. Yeah. You brought up a great point, and I brought this up a little bit earlier about going out during the draft and dealing or getting future second-rounders and not picking in the two spots in which they had in the second round. Do you think that they knew at that time that Brogdon was going to be available, or was that just in case they needed the flexibility for something like that?
I think it's a great comment. I think personally they had a hunch about how strong that was, but I was remembering the draft and thinking, why are they collecting second round? For what purpose? And I think that purpose was, I think they had an inkling. Maybe they didn't have concrete evidence, but they felt like there's no way Milwaukee can afford all these guys. And I think that might have been either for that or for later. So I think I think KP is a smart guy, and I think that's being shown.
Eric, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to throw this out here right now. Do you think the moves they made yesterday, and I hate to put it this way, but do you think they were a plan B, or was this plan A all along? Was Bojan and Rubio plan B? Was Rubio a smokescreen, which I don't understand why it'd have to be a smokescreen? Because all you're really waiting on here is if you really wanted Brogdon and he thought he was going to become available because they were going to bring back Lopez, they were going to bring back Middleton for a high price tag, then I don't know why you need to throw out a smokescreen. But was this a plan B and Bogdanovich and Rubio plan A? And I hate to put it that way because I think that these are all just options. But I'm kind of curious, and we won't find out, and we may never find out, but I'd love to find out. And that's a question I'm going to ask Kevin at some point. I just want to know how all this transpires. I know most of this is already known because I know nothing turns on a 5-minute dime from, hey, we were tracking these two guys, and now Utah paid him too much. Now Brogdon's going to be available. He's going to be the odd man out of Milwaukee, so we'll throw cash his direction. We'll give them a first, a couple of second-rounders because 2 weeks prior we went out and became more versatile and have some more options with these second-round picks, which is something, by the way, he did share with us on that Friday, if you remember. All right, your calls. Todd will lead on the other side next.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys. A partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Lunch, will it be the same old, or are you ready to take a vacation from the ordinary with the new Jamaican jerk turkey sub at Firehouse Subs? It's piled high with freshly sliced smoked turkey breast, craveably sweet mustard sauce, and a hint of Caribbean seasoning, all for just $5.55 for a medium. Save time. Order the new Jamaican jerk turkey sub on the Firehouse Subs app. Only $5.55 for a medium. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. Participating locations, limited time only, plus tax. Prices may vary.
911, what's your emergency?
In an emergency, voice is best.
They're inside.
But what if you can't call?
Home invasion reported 1 mile south of downtown. Be advised, alert was received via 911 emergency text. Woman hiding in closet, she can't use her voice.
When a situation is too dangerous to make a call, text to 911 capability now helps Hoosiers. But in most emergencies, voice is still best.
Hello, I think my dad is having a heart attack. He's barely breathing. Hurry, please hurry.
Now, over 600 times a day, Hoosiers use text for 911. It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired, and to those in select dangerous situations. thanks to the Indiana 911 Board. Indiana leads the nation in 911 capability. For more, visit in911.net.
It's good to hear your voice, ma'am. Help is on the way.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
Do you have Medicare and Indiana Medicaid? With Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, you could be getting so much more. Anthem may provide up to $2,000 towards dental, $0 copays on many prescriptions, and up to $1,320 for over-the-counter healthcare items. Get more out of your Medicare and Medicaid coverage. Switch today. Call 866-649-8826. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is an HMO special needs plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield depends on contract renewal.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Baptist Heating and Air. Take it away, girls.
Ding, 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 ding. Baptist, we won't send a dummy. Baptist, we will get you running. Baptist, for a little money. Baptist Heating and Air. Baptist Heating and Air. Helping people to be comfortable. Call 782-1900.
Baptist Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
At Diamonds Direct this week, they're prepping for what could be the biggest ring event ever. If not this weekend, but next weekend. Hey, it's JMV here, July the 12th, 13th, and 14th. 3 days of extra savings on all rings in the store. Thousands of engagement rings, designer rings, all wedding bands, all eternity bands, all colored gem rings, all right-hand rings, all fashion rings, all stackable rings. For these 3 days, you get the best price of the year on every ring in the store. Extra discounts, extra savings, plus special financing will be available for this incredible event. Oh, fellas, you got to get over there right now. Be the hero. Actually, hold on. You don't have to go right now. You can if you want. But these 3 days, July the 12th, 13th, and 14th, they're going to be big for you, especially if you are getting engaged this year. This is it and the only it for you. July 12th, 13th, and 14th only at Diamonds Direct. Keystone at your crossing.
Quit eating your burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Follow your instincts to B-dubs for the new All-American Cheeseburger. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. And knock that baby down with a frosted beer at the bar. Just like the sports gods intended. The new All-American Cheeseburger at Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Please drink responsibly.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free on select in-stock tires. Details in store. Offer good through July 7th. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Kevin Pritchard, nice enough to join us. Is this a best player available kind of thing?
Yeah, it was the best player available. In the draft, you have to be that because I can't get the best player available in free agency. Very rarely can I get it through trade. And the difference between him and a potential wing we could have got, to me, was so big that it wasn't worth taking the position versus taking the talent.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. It's The Ride with JMV.
I'm saying that I'm too hot to handle, too cold to hold.
FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
I had a great time at Lake Monroe this weekend. 4 Winds Lakeside Inner Marina. Not only did I do that, but I had not been to Dagwoods. Dagwoods was a staple in my diet for years, and it goes all the way back to Dagwoods off of Indiana Avenue, and you got to go down the stairs, and then they take your order, and you wait, and you go and you play tabletop Donkey Kong. But here's what they do. They make a great sandwich, a great sub still at Dagwoods on Indiana Avenue, but it takes you a month, and I love it because they want to make sure it's fresh, but it takes a month to unwrap that son of a gun. I had an easier time trying to get a prophylactic out of the package back in the day than it does to unwrap one of those sandwiches. I mean, it takes forever. But I love it. It's worth it. Dagwoods, baby. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. And thanks again to Tony down at the 4 Winds Lakeside Inner Marina for a fantastic weekend. The Windjammer, Bar and Grill, awesome. They had a DJ and then some dude on a guitar. I got burned up pretty good. I was poolside all Saturday, drinking. JMV, the Doug McBrickett contract last year cost them the flexibility needed to sign both Bogey and Brogdon. Should have dumped in during the draft and used that $7 million. Also, it was already reported out there that Indiana had Bogey into a $553 type of deal. Utah swept in the last minute and gave him an extra year due to Mirotic going back to the EuroLeague this weekend. Indiana will not go 4 years and $31 million old small forward. Typical Pacer mistake. Overall happy, but I think we're going to miss Bogey as both Lamb and Warren are unproven. It's Justin Owens. JMV, do you think the Pacers made a mistake by not trading any of the free agents that they lost at the deadline last year? Hindsight is 2020, and I'm all in, and I'm not going to be critical of it because I was fine with that decision, but sure. I mean, as far as assets are concerned with guys that you lost, I mean, they're all gone. So, yeah, the hindsight is 2020 approach. If you could have got something out of somebody now, yeah. But we would be in a completely different situation of doom and gloom, wouldn't we? I would guess. You know, maybe in that situation you don't look at Brogdon and Lamb being anything. I don't know. For Mark, Brogdon a solid decision. I have less doubt about him than Holiday. Further, now that Thad is gone, Goga makes all the sense in the world. From Emacs, I hope the Pacers can get Isaiah Thomas. They need the energy now. JMV, I think it's fair to blame Tyreek. He was building a mansion with all those bricks at the rim. Now, I just thought about this. The fact that the entire second unit was not what you wanted to be or we thought it was going to be. And can you blame that entire thing and even a lot of the game of McDermott on playing with Tyreek Evans, having Tyreek Evans out there, having Tyreek Evans being late, being a problem, being an issue, and then kind of just saying, okay, to squeeze anything out of you right now, what do we need to do? If you remember the conversation Nate had with Tyreek Evans as we got closer and closer to the end of the season and he wanted the ball in his hands. And then, you know, there are moments where you felt good, but not as many as you felt really bad and had to hide your eyes. I'm going to tell you what. If I don't see another Euro step, half-ass layup miss in my life, this is going to be a good day. Seriously, I don't know. I'd love to see this. Does anybody have the stat on how many layups that dude missed this year? Do you think that Tyreek Evans missed 30 layups this year? Or was it more? 30 layups. If I set the over-under at 30, would you take the over? I tell you what, I'll set it at 35 missed layups. You take the over, the under. Just a thought. JMV, this is from Nate. Most of the Pacer offensive issues stem from Nate not having any significant offensive sets. You have to have players in positions to score, and if you're playing without your star player, your schemes better be on point. I can buy into that, too. So it's very over 35. Do you think Tyreek Evans missed 50 layups this year? Do you think 50 layups? Come on. Is there any way you can track that? Is there anything that tracks misses for him? And how many layups he missed? You guys are all betting a house on it right now. All right. Todd's at 239-1070. Todd, hello. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Hey, by the way, NBA Stats has that number, and it was somewhere in the 80s. I'm telling you right now. So,
no. Todd, did you look it up? You looked it up.
No, I have not looked it up, but it would make a good bowling score. I know that. So I know the number was high.
Do you think it was in the 80s, though? You believe?
Yeah, it was in the 80s. I had it at some point in the year. And then I want to talk to you on a quick sidebar since you're now a soccer Svengali. Do any women go by just one name, or is that just like a dude thing?
Oh, I think the Brazilian women go by one name. Yeah.
Okay.
Like one name is in soccer. I think the Brazilian women go by one name. Yeah.
But it's not like Wamba or. I mean, okay, right. So I guess
it might be I don't know, Rodriguez or something. I don't know, but yeah, I think there are a couple that do.
So let's we'll talk Pacers here real quick, and I know one of your wishes and mine as well was to find more scoring. I think no matter how you cut it, that they have found more scoring with what they've done here now,
right?
And that's kind of taken Evans out of the equation because that was a little bit of a misnomer. But anybody, I mean, listen, this is all conjecture. I mean, anybody that's listening here that said they watched 70 Hornets games or 63 Suns games is lying. But we see the numbers, and I mean, I think we definitely have more scoring. We have better perimeter shooting. I will say this: we got better foul shooting, if nothing else, because if you look at Brogdon and Lamb's foul shooting numbers, they're up both above 90%. Where I don't know if we're at here is defensively and rebounding, and I think that that just is something we gotta kind of see and evaluate because I think we took a dip in those. It's funny, scoring wise, you score 3 or 4 more points a game, you move up like 6 points in the league or 6 positions in the league from the scoring. So it's not a big difference in terms of that. I'll let you respond to my comments. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Todd, thank you very much for the call. I would agree with a lot of that. I mean, listen, he told us, he being Kevin Pritchard, that shooting was going to be a premium. And shooters are at a premium. And look at the backcourts, though, when you think about it. Look at the backcourt. I mean, look at what Rozier ended up getting. Look what Rubio got. He got $50 million, and the dude can't really shoot. As I mentioned earlier, Corey Joseph, and I like him a great deal, got around $12 million a year, or over $12 million a year, and he did not hit a shot, I don't think, for the entire month of March. Can you look that up too? Did Corey Joseph? I like Corey Joseph a lot, and I'm not trying to make fun of him, but I don't think he hit a shot for an entire month. I think he went 0 for a month. Todd also said that he thought Tyreke Evans' missed layups were in the 80s. That's crazy. It's from BT Do. Wouldn't you rather talk about the Reds? I think the Reds, I said this earlier, the Reds need to play the Cubs every game. At the very least, every week. I think I'd feel better if the Reds played the Cubs every week. See, now I think they start with Milwaukee tonight. And then the Cubs every week. Adrian Wojnarowski says free agent Frank Kaminsky has signed a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Suns. Frank Kaminsky with the Suns. As I mentioned earlier, Wesley Matthews with the Bucks. Man, is that Rob Gronkowski? Is that how skinny he is now? That's incredible. It's from Dell Phillips. Tyreke Evans would miss 35 layups in 1 week. JMV. Tyreke played 69 games and missed 3 layups a game, so I say 207. That's classic right there. Alice Golden says this: the Pacers not getting Bojan back was a blessing in disguise. 4 years for a 31-year-old is not what I would have wanted for a long-term Pacer team. Plus, I'd rather have Brogdon and Lamb than Bogey and Rubio. I think most would agree with that right now. You do get younger. And obviously there are pitfalls in this too because Brogdon has not been without injury. He's had foot injuries. He hasn't missed time because he's resting. He's missed time legitimately for injuries. So, but I would absolutely agree with that. I'd love to know the entire story. Jay Michael is going to join us at the top of the hour. We'll see if he knows anything as far as just how quickly this team turn from one situation to the other? Was it just being prepared, or did they already believe that situation was going to transpire in Milwaukee that kind of led them down the path to having to part ways with Brogdon and the Pacers being right there and then securing it with a couple of second rounders and a first rounder? The J. Michael, top of the hour. Corey Joseph shot 28% in the month of March. That's better than what I thought. I didn't think he hit a shot in the month of March.
28% and 20% from three.
See, I didn't even think I didn't think he hit a shot. There was like a 3-week period where that dude didn't hit a shot. He got $12 million per from Sacramento. Quick one, Alan, other side, J. Michael, anything goes and more coming up after this.
JMV's live from the FIFA Women's World Cup semifinal viewing event at Bankers Life Fieldhouse Tuesday at 3, hosted by Indiana Fever and Indy 11, in support of Team USA.
Yingling Golden Pilsner, a beer so crisp, refreshing, and smooth. When you crack one open, it makes any occasion golden. A night out with the ladies.
I might call it a night. A night to remember.
Game day with your buddies.
Beer man, Pilsner here. And here, and here.
Happy hours come to life.
Could I get a Yingling Golden Pilsner? You know what? Make it a bucket.
Yes, with Yingling Golden Pilsner, card games get wilder.
I should probably fold. But I'd rather go all in.
Even backyard bonfires feel more alive.
Hey guys, I brought my guitar. And my drums.
So no matter where the day takes you, crack open a smooth, refreshing 6 generations in the making Yingling Golden Pilsner and make your day golden. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, it's 1 hour heating and air conditioning at 844. 1 hour, that is 844. 1 hour. For 1 hour, heating and air conditioning. So, got an issue right now. You got to call my friends in 1 hour over there to make sure that it is not a major summertime situation with your heating unit, or check that, your cooling unit, because if it is, then your house is going to heat up and it's going to be uncomfortable, and you don't want that. You just got to make sure that it's running smoothly, and oftentimes you think that it is, and it's really not. And here's where you find out. Either A, you find out because it's no longer comfortable in your home, or B, you find out because you're looking at your energy monthly bills and you go, hey, what's happening here? Yeah, that's money being thrown right out the door. So let 1 hour come in at 844 1 hour and make sure everything is running smoothly. And if there needs to be an adjustment, they have the equipment with them that can do it right then and right there. It's the professionals. 1 hour heating and air conditioning. 844 1 hour. That's 844 1 hour today.
We remember the moments that inspired us to pursue an education. Memories from our childhood that led us to become the individuals we are today. Though our paths were different, the obstacles we faced and the debt that endures are burdens we all share. But what if our children didn't have to share our struggles? What if they could follow their passions and learn the skills necessary to cultivate every bit of their potential without the weight of student debt? College Choice 529 provides families from every walk of life a way to save for higher education, so our kids can dream, conquer fears, defy the odds. Because together, we are powerful, and together, we can create a world where debt doesn't limit our children's future. No one's journey looks the same, but everyone's needs a start. College Choice 529. Learn more and enroll at collegechoicedirect.com.
Read the disclosure statement carefully before investing.
Here's what's happening with the fan.
The 8th annual Tom Dockage Memorial Golf Outing presented by Franciscan Health Cancer Center is Monday, July 15th at Golf Club of Indiana. Register you and your team today. And plan on joining us July 4th on the grounds of the Indiana War Memorial for the IPL Downtown Freedom Fest presented by Anthem. Fun starts at 6:30. Fireworks kick off at 10. And follow the fan on social media. Like and follow the fan for your chance to win prizes, tickets, and much more.
For more info, click on IndySportsCenter.com.
Diamonds Direct's largest ever ring sale is not this weekend, but next weekend, July 12th through 14th. Get extra savings on all rings next weekend only at Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
Go trackside with Kurt Cavan and Kevin Lee. Tomorrow night at 7 on The Fan. The Ride.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
With JMV.
J. Michael, top of the 5. Anything goes, bottom. I'm John. Thank you for joining us. Got a sunny, hot, and humid day working out there right now. Had a great weekend down at Lake Monroe, the Four Winds Lakeside Inn and Marina. Hey, by the way, that reminds me, because we're going to have a big, everybody's invited party out there at the end of the summer, and I was kind of scouting out places where we're going to do it, where we're going to have it. But I also want to remind you, we're now in the month of July. We have one of the 3 Backyard Bourbon broadcasts under the belt. That was at Matt's place back in Noblesville a couple of weeks ago, which was outstanding. Matt and his friends in the neighborhood, awesome. It's Matt Parks. Great house, great backyard, even though Pat Sullivan kind of ripped on it a little bit. But we could be, and we'd love to come to your house next. Sign up right now, 1070thefan.com. And we will choose a winner. I don't know if we have an exact date yet for July, but we shall choose a winner, and hopefully we're going to be at your house. And we bring all the beverages, all of it. Yeah, I bring the Evan Williams, the Larceny, and we got different kinds going there too. We bring that. We bring the official hydration from Connecticut, the food from Wings, etc. You just have 30 of your friends there and be ready to go. Backyard Bourbon broadcast number 2 coming up in the month of July. Online, 1070thefan.com. We would love to have you. Jay Ryan with a traffic update. There's a wreck on 465 on the east side by Washington. If you're heading north, expect delays. I just saw over the weekend where basically the east side, northeast side was complete foobar. I saw that. Everybody was complaining about it. And I was down in Bloomington. But everybody, and let me tell you this, there's nothing better than the summertime in Bloomington, Indiana, by the way. It was great. Little Dagwoods action. I slid by Lucky's. Woo! Buffalo, I love going to the Buffalo's place. I didn't even order any food. I just went in there. But yeah, Bloomington in the summertime is good. Hey, thanks again, Todd. It's from Matt. So I just got off work and tuned in. I heard the Pacer talk, which is great. Excited about their moves. Now I'm curious about the Colts. Anything good, bad, or ugly going on? Haven't heard much. Yeah, there's nothing going on. I was on in Kansas City today, and I was talking to my friend Sarim Petro, about the Colts. And he was asking about their expectations, and their expectations are through the roof. Yeah, I said AFC title game. I mean, is that your expectation? For them to win a divisional game and then to go to the title game? What's that, man? What'd you bring? I just got some posters. Oh, dear. Good to see you. But no, I think that's the expectation this year, right? Fair or unfair? I mean, no, they're just a year removed from hell last year. If they were going to be 8-8, everything would be great. But, yeah, this year's going to be a little bit different. I also asked him about what he expected out of Kansas City. Considering some of their losses, and obviously the whole Tyreek Hill thing is still floating around, but he expected the offense to be as good, but he expected, and this is probably better, they made the decision to get away from Bob Sutton defensively, and I think much like the bench and Tyreek Evans, we give all the blame here to the Pacers. All the blame for not going to a Super Bowl last year was placed on defensive coordinator Bob Sutton. And Steve Spagnuolo was brought in, and they expect that to be a huge move. And they suggest they won't have to score as much, therefore better team. Alan's at 239-1070. Alan, hello, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I just wanted to come in and comment on the Pacers' moves, man. At first I was kind of lost and didn't know where we were going to go, but Pritch, he did his thing, man. We got younger. We got some good contracts in. We're a little more talented, a little bit more athletic, but I'm excited to see what they make of this whole thing, man. It'll be interesting to see how they can hold up without Vic, and if Turner can take that next step. I feel like we've been saying that for 3 years now, but hey, maybe this is the one.
Well, I mean, there's another step to take. I mean, to me, for him, He just needs to have universal confidence. I mean, there are times you can tell he's not going to be ready for it. You know, I mean, if it doesn't go right early, there oftentimes it kind of is sustained negativity for the entire game. He's got to stop living in that world. I mean, he's got to be living in a world where if he wants to be the man, he's going to be the man regardless of what happens. So, I'm confident. I'm going to start with confidence there with him.
Yeah, and sometimes, I just wish Nate would just let him go. Just give him the keys for a stretch at a time, and let's just see what happens. And I don't think we've really seen that yet. So
well, and you know what? And you bring up a good point because they're going to have to. I mean, if they are absolutely married to the idea of playing both these, both Sabonis and Miles, then you are going to have to let it go and see what. And there are going to be some bumps in the road too, but we'll see if it works. We'll finally see that it works. And what Kevin Pritchard told me, absolutely they're going to be on the roster to start the season. I would not expect anything less other than those guys starting the season in the lineup together and on the roster. So.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Alan, you call anytime. Thank you. Hey, Yanni sent me this. Tyreek Evans shot 40% on layups this year. I think that's high. I thought that was a high percentage. 40% on layups. Yeah. My man DJ Indiana Jones is in here. Hey, hit that red button over there on the microphone. You don't even have to put on if you don't. Well, I think you're on right now. What you doing in here?
Hey, I'm just out here. Just roaming the streets.
You're roaming the streets?
Yeah, we just had a little photo shoot down at Indianapolis Monthly.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And
who's we?
Me and the guys from Treese, Oreo Jones. He used to actually be one of your interns.
I like Oreo Jones a lot.
Yeah, he used to be one of your interns way back. And my man Jay Brookins, my partners with Treese, Cheers and Peace. Right. It's our music festival, hip-hop festival we do every year down in Fountain Square.
No, that's awesome. When's that coming up?
August 24th.
Nice.
Yeah, still a little bit away.
Any
couple free agents away.
Any other? Yeah, no doubt. Any other big news happening in your world?
No, nothing too crazy. No. I'm pretty low key. You know me.
Yeah, very low key. I know you. You're low key. Yeah, I just talked to Indiana Black Expo is coming later on this month, and I talked to Amps. Going to get Teddy Riley back on, I guess, because Guy's performing here. I've never seen Guy. I've never seen Guy.
Me and you are going to go to that together.
Holy crap!
Me and you.
I asked Teddy Riley if I could get up on stage and sing Rump Shaker with him last year, and he said, "Yeah."
I'm sure he did.
Yeah. I don't think he meant it, but he said, yeah.
Now, your freshman year, college, or that song was number one.
It was, what was that, 92? So that was my junior year, sophomore
this
to
is
junior.
89, 90 when this record was
Rump Shaker?
Well, I'm older than you, yeah. But
no,
I was down in Foster McGee.
God dang it.
Listening to it in room
Rump
103.
Shaker was not.
Yeah, that's 89, 90.
Cue up Rump Shaker
or 90, 91.
for us, would you?
Yeah.
I'm going to there's no way.
Yeah.
I said 91.
Yeah.
Rump Shaker,
89 or 90.
DJ Indiana Jones is in studio. Who is right? Rump Shaker was released August 25th, 1992.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
I said
maybe I was thinking of Do What You Like by Digital Underground. I think I get those two mixed up every night.
Yeah, Teddy Riley came on the show and it was awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
He's one of the greatest producers of all time. He's right up there with Quincy Jones. He's right up there with all of them. Yeah. I love him.
Anything else you want to promote while you're here? I got to hit a
Go
break.
to Treese.com. We've got Talib Kweli coming in. We've got Griselda Records, which is Benny the Butcher. We've got Sadat X. We've got Artifacts. We've got a whole lot of locals. We've got over 50 local artists that are performing at this festival. It's all independent, and it's amazing. You can go to Treese.com, CHREECE.com. It means cheers and peace.
Check it out. Hey, turn it up here.
There you go. Hey!
So, what did you like better, Guy, Rex and Effect, or Blackstreet?
I like Guy the best out of all of them.
I like Blackstreet too, but I like Guy the best.
That Guy album with I Like and Teddy's Jam and all of those on it.
Because I mean, everything else, it was the template, right? It was the template where everything else was.
All of the New Jack era,
yes.
the whole New Jack era. Teddy Riley ushered that whole thing in. See what I did there? Ushered that whole thing.
Nice job. Good to see you, brother.
Always, brother.
DJ Indiana Jones in studio. Jay Michael of the Star talks about Pacer free agency. We got questions for him next.
Your next haircut now has a shortcut. Introducing the Sport Clips Haircuts app. That's right, now the cut you want is just a tap away. Just download the app, check in at your neighborhood Sport Clips, and choose your Guy Smart stylist, and you're done. We'll text you when your stylist is almost ready. Then head to Sport Clips for a championship haircut experience. It's home field advantage for your hair. No appointment needed. Just download the Sport Clips app and check in. And don't forget a beard trim. Sport Clips. You choose the cut, we cut the weight.
If it's bling for your finger, it's on sale next weekend at Diamonds Direct. Yes, it's Diamonds Direct's annual summer ring sale, July 12th through 14th. Best prices of the year on all rings. Extra savings on thousands of engagement ring mounting, plus all eternity bands, all fashion rings, all wedding bands, all colored gemstone rings. Take your existing diamond and give it new life with a new set and save like never before. Meet the designers, see all the newest ring styles. It's 3 days of extra savings on all rings, July 12th through 14th only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
Keystone at the Crossing.
If your house could talk.
I knew it was down there, but you just don't think about it. I mean, who knew there was mold spreading?
Is your house trying to tell you something about your crawl space? We can help with everything from mold and moisture to sagging floors and beams. Visit Indiana Foundation Service at indianafoundation.com for a free inspection and take advantage of no payments and no interest until 2020. Some restrictions apply.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
You have Medicare and Indiana Medicaid? With Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, you could be getting so much more. Anthem may provide up to $2,000 towards dental, $0 copays on many prescriptions, and up to $1,320 for over-the-counter healthcare items. Get more out of your Medicare and Medicaid coverage. Switch today. Call 866-649-8826. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is an HMO special needs plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield depends on contract renewal.
Marshall Mechanical, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Franklin, is the proud sponsor of the Franklin Firecracker Festival. Terry, this sounds like a ton of fun.
I know it, Big Joe. You can kick off Independence Day celebrations in an all-American way the evening of Wednesday, July 3rd in beautiful downtown Franklin. Enjoy the Kids Fun Zone, train rides, the Elks Beer Garden, and plenty of food, that's for sure.
And there's going to be music. Always got to have music by the Franklin Community Band and the Blue River Band. Then at 10 o'clock, the presentation of the colors and the national anthem, followed by
fireworks. Wednesday night, July 3rd, the Franklin Firecracker Festival in downtown Franklin. It's the perfect way to start the long holiday weekend and celebrate America's birthday.
The Franklin Firecracker Festival is proudly sponsored by Marshall Mechanical, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Franklin. If you need cooling service this summer, give Eric Marshall or Mark Chester a call at 317-738-5940 or just visit them online at callthemarshallnow.com.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Hey, Goga, you ever had a bottle rocket shot at you or any fireworks?
Yeah, definitely. They throw like chairs and battery, and also they also throw brick which at us, like I said, fireworks, and yeah, it's very usual there.
Yeah, it's not gonna bother you when somebody yells you and calls you a name. I mean, who cares about a name? Don't hit me with a brick.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BP, W228CX, Indianapolis. Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Hi, welcome back. Thank you, DJ Indiana Jones. Good to see him. Good friend of the show right there. He's a great dude. Plays our BullseyeEventGroup.com VIP tailgates and does a great job. Both he and Skids do that. But DJ Indiana Jones, awesome dude. And he has been the reason why some greatness has been on here before. Third base guys were on here. I'm trying to think some of the dudes he put on here in the past. But yeah, I was talking to just over direct messaging Ann Paris this weekend, and I saw where Guy's going to be back at Indiana Black Expo this year, and I love Guy. Love it. And Teddy Riley was on last year, if you remember, kind of made my year having him on. I think I would take Guy over Rex and Effect and Blackstreet, if you had to ask me. It's from Chris Hankins. When is Summer in Backyard Bourbon broadcast in Bloomington? That is I think we're going to schedule that, Chris, down at Lake Monroe at the Four Winds Lakeside Inn and Marina. We will schedule that the Friday of Labor Day weekend. So we can all just stay and do what we do, which is a lot. But I believe that's when it's going to be. I don't even know how preliminary that is. I think that's pretty much it. But we'll keep you updated, and it's everybody's invited too. I mean, like this, for example, our Backyard Bourbon broadcast in the backyards of listeners or winners in this case, they invite 30 people, but this is everybody's invited. And I don't know how that's going to work out, but I know we're going to have fun, and that's what it's all about. So that is the date as of right now. JMV, 40% layups. That's true right there. 40% layups. Hey, this other reminder I have, I'm going to get back to the Pacer conversation and your thoughts regarding what transpired yesterday with Brogdon, with Lamb, in just a second. But the Pacers have signed Brian Bowen to a two-way contract and Jakeenan Gant and C.J. Wilcox to contracts. If you remember, Bowen was the dude that got everybody in trouble. He played professionally in Australia a year ago in Sydney. 6 points a game, 3 rebounds, 30 games in all. Wilcox signed a two-way contract with the Pacers in August of 2018. Had that Achilles situation. He was originally out of college, selected by the Clippers. Summer League starts tonight, and you can watch at 7, I think, on NBA TV. The Cavaliers are playing. The reason why I want to direct you there is because our friend Dylan Windler should be seeing action tonight in the Summer League out in Salt Lake City. That's at 7. JMV, why did the Pacers miss out on the 2-year, $15 million Derrick Rose sweepstakes? I feel he has plenty of tread on those tires. That would have been tough. That's Brian and West Lafayette. I never heard that they have any interest in him, to be honest with you. But I think somebody had mentioned that to me a couple of different times. It's from Chad. Hey, JMV, do you think the Pacers are done, or will they be active in the trade market still? I will tell you this, Chad. It's not like I have expectations out there, but I think they're always looking. I think they're always going to be looking. It's probably not what you think. I don't think they're looking at either of the bigs, but I think they're always looking for something to happen here. Now, they just brought in for 3 years Edmund Sumner. I don't know how much money it is, but we shall see. I will ask Jay Michael about this. On the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from the Indianapolis Star, he's had a busy weekend and a busy yesterday too. Jay Michael joins us. All right, I'm trying not to put it in terms of A and B. I think we both knew that certainly Rubio and Bogdanovich was in this, and I think we all believe we know what transpired, but how quickly did they turn to Brogdon and did they only turn when they found out the money that Middleton was going to get? How did all this transpire ultimately, you think, to get Brogdon yesterday?
From what I understand, Brogdon was a high target on the list the whole time. This wasn't a case of they really weren't pursuing Brogdon. They had been pursuing Brogdon, but he was, obviously a restricted free agent with Milwaukee. So, there's a little bit more hoops you got to jump through than just signing a guy in free agency. That's kind of at the level where I understand where things kind of came together. They coveted him they've covered him this whole process, and we're able to get him, away from Milwaukee. 6'5" guy who can play a couple of positions and who can give them a little bit more scoring, which is what they needed. So I think that's what they wanted, because honestly, I'm gonna tell you something. I was doing some film on Rubio for the previous 2 days. And my thought was, I know a lot of people weren't fans of if it were Ricky Rubio, and I wasn't crazy about it, but it's like, if it's a short-term option, for a year or two, fine. But what I saw in Rubio on film, I was horrified of what I saw of him offensively and defensively. That to me, that was not a viable option for the Pacers. That's just me speaking, because there's no way you get better. Ricky Rubio is only 28 years old, and something about him struck me as though he was 38 years old in the film I was watching. So I think this, hands down, it's no contest. If you got a choice between Rubio and Brogdon, that's an easy decision.
So did getting their sights set on Brogdon, did they move on themselves from wanting to bring Bogdanovich back? I mean, is that, or did Bogdanovich and Utah's deal just kind of say, hey, this is the decision we have to make and go a different direction? How did that work? Did they move away from Bogdanovich when they found out that Brogdon might be available as he was?
I think they knew all along they would have to move away from Bogdanovich, because I can tell you back in March, someone connected to Boyan told me roughly what it was going to take to probably keep him. And that number didn't match what I thought the Pacers would be willing to pay. It would make a whole lot of sense. If he would have gotten paid anywhere in that range that I was being told, if that were accurate, then yeah, that financially wouldn't work. And as he kept playing better and better, even though, the wheels kind of came off with the Pacers in the postseason, shooters, you see what's happening with shooters like Bogdanovich. The value for those guys hitting the open market, it's just ridiculous. And so you knew this is a guy who's 30 years old, who's probably on his final big contract. Guys want to cash in at that point and usually get the most money possible. So he's going to actually a really good team that's going to compete for the top four in the West, and he's getting the money that he wants, which is, you get both of those, that's hard to top. And I think the Pacers knew that all along. And like I said, the T.J. Warren deal, I wasn't sure if they were bringing T.J. in at that point to be a starter or to be a backup. And I think it's kind of clear that that was a move. I thought it was a safety, almost like a safety net, but I think clearly they knew they weren't going to be able to afford Boyan. He was going to be way outside of their price range. And that's what happens with free agency. A lot of this stuff is unpredictable, but they have an idea. Teams have an idea of what it's going to cost to keep a guy, and they know if they should be working on plan B, C, and D.
All right. So, but Brogdon was plan A in this.
To my knowledge.
Okay.
To my knowledge, yes. Yeah.
So, J. Michael, the star, he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So, does this go as far back as draft night when they were trying to create those assets, those second rounders? Because a lot of people told you, a lot of people told me, why didn't you draft him? You got that second rounder, and there's Carson Edwards, draft this and draft that. Was that all in mind to do what they did yesterday in terms of trying to get Brogdon?
Yes, and yes. That's something I've been talking about, not only in stories or the interviews I mentioned on Twitter. I actually even said yesterday before the deadline, the window opened, trades are how you can, it's not all about free agent moves. This time of year, if you have cap space and picks, is about trades. And that's exactly what happened. So you go back to the trade deadline in February when they got a pick from Houston by absorbing some salary to help Houston get under the luxury tax. That was a second round pick that Pritchard got in that deal. You're able to take that T.J. Warren pick, that they got a second round pick that came with T.J. Warren, which isn't half bad. You get Warren plus you get a second round pick, and they flipped that into that pick into 3 picks from the Miami Heat. And if you listen to what Pritchard said after the trade deadline, the quote, "I want to get asset rich." Why do you want to get asset rich? So you can have flexibility. And the thing that I've been saying this whole time, these last few months, the Pacers knew they were not a major player in free agency. That doesn't mean that they didn't try. They didn't have targets. They didn't try to see if they can shake someone loose. They knew that the big name free agent guys who can change your culture, your roster, they were either spoken for or they had their eyes elsewhere. So the only other option you have, if you're the Pacers or some other team in their position, a smaller market that's gained these assets, is you got cap space to go with it, where you can absorb a big contract and get a guy in a deal like they got Brogdon. So this was in the makings for quite some time. Pritchard hinted at it, and he followed through with it. That's what you have to do. That's how you manufacture. That's why cap space matters, and that's why not trading away or giving away your assets the way a lot of teams do, why it matters. Because that way, you look at teams that don't have picks and teams that don't have cap space, they haven't made a splash in free agency or in the trade market because they can't. So yeah, this was the game plan for Pritchard all along. They saw what the roadmap was telling them, where they had to go in order to change the team.
Did they have interest in Rubio as much as everybody thought? Yeah,
there was interest in Rubio. From what I understand, I talked to a couple of people. There was interest. I was conflicted. Like when the very first, I don't even remember who was the first person to mention Rubio a while back, and it kind of caught me sideways.
Kevin O'Connor. It was Kevin O'Connor, the ringer. Yeah.
Okay, and it caught me a bit sideways. Look, there's a lot of interest. Let's face it. When there are a bunch of people that teams have interest in. You have it prioritized. Just because you have a guy on the list doesn't mean he's your number one guy. And I think what ends up happening is, I had people tweet to me, "I can't believe that the Pacers are going to get Rubio." I said, no. You saw a report that said they had interest in Rubio. Teams have interest in multiple guys. That you got to do your legwork on. Okay, if this doesn't work, you got to keep having fallback plans. If you strike out on your first 10 options at point guard and Rubio is the only guy left and you can get him at a good number, I guess, you're not crazy about it, but you got to do what you got to do. Somebody's got to take the job. So there's interest in Rubio. He can do some good things, but I think his skill set versus what this team needs doesn't match nearly as well as what Brogdon not only did in Milwaukee, but what I think he potentially can do if he's in charge of, more responsibility and running his own team, where he's not kind of sharing that duty with Eric Bledsoe, which is what he was doing in Milwaukee.
So J. Michael, the Star, joining us. I'll move on in just a second, but I do have some interest in they turned on a dime, or that's how the perception was, or it seemed. How long ago did they know? Let's just say, because we all know the stuff's going on behind the scenes. Did they know that Middleton was going to get that massive contract, that Milwaukee was going to bring back Lopez, therefore not wanting to go over the threshold into luxury tax? The Bucks decided to see the odd man out being Brogdon. How long prior to yesterday at 6 o'clock do you think they knew that?
Well, I think at least at some point this week that was the case, because there were some things that I was told leading into free agency as I was kind of double checking at where certain teams stood. Now, did they know this a month ago? I don't know that. I don't know that. I doubt that, but I could be wrong. But I think leading up to the opening of free agency, depending on whom you ask, I think it was somewhere within the last week they knew what was going to shake loose. Because when it comes to all of this, all it takes is it's like the draft. All of a sudden, somebody you don't expect to get signed or re-signed or traded kind of throws everything off, and all of a sudden all your projections of who is going to go where changes, because now you got to readjust your list. And I think that's what's common in free agency in this process, and that there's really few hard answers that most people know, except when you just don't, when you're not in the mix for something. And I don't believe the Pacers all of a sudden were surprised that they could get Malcolm Brogdon and it just fell into their lap. But there was suspicion at least 24 hours before free agency opened that I know of, from what a league source told me, that this was in the works. that they were working on something to try to get Brogdon free from Milwaukee.
So as a restricted free agent, too, when you trade the second rounders, and I'm assuming the protected one here, as they did with Brogdon in this situation, was that just to make sure that the deal was done? Why do you end up doing that, J. Michael?
The second rounders are valuable because you see a lot of teams throw in protected picks or second round picks, and they just have to do it to make the. I don't have the salary cap in front of me. It's only like 5,000 pages, but basically you throw that in to make the deal work. It's basically to meet league rules. And the protections, like sometimes the second round pick, in some cases the second round picks go away. It depends on how long the protection lasts. Sometimes the protection can be unlimited. Sometimes it could be if the protection kicks in the next draft, you keep the pick. But if it doesn't kick in, we get the pick back. There's all these conditions to it. But, yeah, basically the short answer is a lot of these things are thrown in. Having these assets is what helps you execute the deal because without them, you cannot.
So, J. Michael, the star on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, did they have their sights set on Jeremy Lamb all along?
I'm not sure about that. He was a guy. Yeah, I mean, he was on the short list. Yeah, was he the number one guy? I can't tell you that. No, I don't know that for sure. But Lamb was a guy. He had a really good season in Charlotte last year. I think he was career high 18 points or something to that effect. He kind of, their sights were set on a particular. If you look at who they got, their sights were set on a particular style of player. Long, athletic. Can play multiple positions. Brogdon plays the 1 and the 2. Jeremy Lamb plays the 2 and the 3. T.J. Warren can play the 3 and the 4. Okay, and to give them that kind of versatility that they saw when they played the Boston Celtics and got swept, that's the kind of versatility Boston had. That's the kind of versatility this team did not have. They wanted those type of players. So yes, Lamb was on a short list. I can't tell you if he was ranked 1 or 2. But he was on a short list of guys that they were interested in. Now, guys that they were interested in that they thought were in their wheelhouse. I mean, obviously, if you could get Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant, would you be interested? Yeah. But those guys realistically aren't in the wheelhouse. So just because you don't get them, which drives me crazy when I hear fans say, the team didn't try. Just because they didn't get guys doesn't mean they didn't ask.
Well, hey, listen, I had heard that they had I had heard that they had asked to interview and have a conversation with both Harris and Middleton and were declined.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, which
Oh, you mean Harris, Tobias Harris?
Yes, Tobias Harris. Yeah.
Yeah. I do know that. Yes, I heard of Harris. Correct.
So,
I'm not sure about Middleton.
And you're right, because that doesn't mean they're not going after them. It just means the player has no interest in coming here, or the player already knows, probably in the case of Middleton, that he's getting a boatload to stay where it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. And the other thing is, you hear frequently, well, the team isn't willing to spend money, which is, kind of crazy too, because the teams are going to spend 95% of the salary cap because that's the rule. So that's actually not it either. I mean, most teams don't want to go into luxury tax, but you're required to spend the money. And you ideally would like to spend the money on a player that's worth it. So it's not lack of trying. Most teams in the league don't get the number one target on their list. But 30 teams probably were trying to get Kyrie Irving. Only one got him. 29 failed, right? So that's just how it works. You're not always going to get that guy, especially smaller markets, as you know, generally at a significant disadvantage.
All right, J. Michael the Star joins us. So you had 3 years now with Edmund Sumner that you're on top of a little bit earlier. I don't know, and maybe you know how this is going to factor in financially, because at the start of the day, I think they had, $4 million, somewhere in that neighborhood left beneath the cap, and then the $4.5 million room exception. Where do they stand right now moving forward with now Sumner as a part of this?
Well, I think they have. So that's 12 spots filled.
Yeah.
I'm not in front of my screen, so I think they have 3 roster spots. So you figure you have a couple of probably minimum guys or near minimum salary guys. The biggest moves, unless they made some other sort of trade, the biggest moves are done. So now you're just kind of looking to fill out the roster. It would be good for them, in my opinion, to be able to get like a veteran guy, but I don't know what veteran they can get at that price tag unless they probably used a room exception on that player. But yeah, I mean, keeping Sumner again, he fits the whole thing I just told you about. 6'6", athletic, plays 3 positions. His contract's a good contract. It's nothing but upside when it comes to Sumner. I mean, I think he's going to be a really good player at some point. I just don't know how long it's going to take for him to get there. I like all sorts. I've been a fan of Edmund Sumner since Summer League last year, and I've made that very clear. So I think he's going to be a really good player. It could end up being a bargain when you consider they bought him for $1 million from New Orleans back in 2017. So, but he fits this whole thing. Look at it. There all of these over 30 guys, 30 and over guys that they had on this roster the last few years. Thad Young, Collison, Bogdanovich, all of them are gone. So you see where they're going in terms of the style of play, the type, the style of play, the style of player that they're looking for. So the only question then becomes exactly what do you do with these other few spots? I thought Justin Holiday was on a short list to come here, but I was told earlier today that he's kind of off the radar now. Aaron Holiday's older brother, who spent last season in Chicago and Memphis, he's a 6'6" shooter who I thought could potentially, be some help off the bench, but that's now going out the window from what I understand. So now they're just kind of looking to fill out the roster with these other spots. So yeah, there's not going to be any movers and shakers out from this point on that makes you go wow. Because this is what you pretty much got.
So Jay Michael with us, I thought there was a rumor out there that maybe TJ McConnell was getting some interest from them, but that's like the last one I've seen. So it seems like that.
Yeah. They need a point. They need another point guard.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, you need a third point guard behind Holiday and Brogdon, and Brogdon is more of a guy who plays really a 2 who can run the offense. So really, pure point guards, you don't really have a pure point guard on the roster because to me, Holiday is the size of a point guard with the mentality of a 2 guard, and Brogdon is a 2 guard is a guy who can play point guard with the size of a 2 guard and with the mentality of a scorer. So, I mean, that's what I mean. That T.J. McConnell type of guy is, I think that would probably be a good addition. Again, could you get him at the number that the Pacers can offer because they don't have a whole lot of room left under the cap.
See ya, Jay Michael is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I'll save the rest of the NBA and how they did. I thought Philly had a really good period yesterday, and we'll see. I think the jury's still out on the Nets. They got stars, I know, but they got one that took apart a team that should be a hell of a lot better, and another that we'll see what happens on the other side. But Milwaukee, you think Miami got better with getting Butler down there? Butler always seems like a problem. I thought Philly did well of getting rid of him and bringing in Al Horford and re-signing Tobias Harris.
My only thing with Philly is, if they lose Butler, keeping Tobias Harris is important. I think Miami Jimmy Butler on the court makes you better. There's no doubt about it, and I think he fits perfectly with the way Pat Riley is supposed to do things. Like the way Jimmy Butler kind of likes to. He's really hard and demanding on teammates. Pat Riley and their exposure are like that on their players currently anyway. So I think culture-wise, he's probably a better fit there, if anything else, if nothing else. But with Philly, if you lose Jimmy, you keep Tobias, that's a good thing. I like the Al Horford addition up to a point. And I love Al Horford as a player. One of my favorite players, college or pro. But my only issue is I think he's 33 years old and you gave him a 4-year fully guaranteed deal. And the returns on that early are probably going to be good for Philly. But when you get to years 3 and 4, you might have buyer's remorse. Because I'm not a fan of giving a guy a $100 million contract who's at that point in his career. Even though he can be worth every penny, he's more likely to get injured. And as he gets older like that, the returns are bound to diminish. So if you didn't front load that contract with the money, on the back end, you could find yourself in a situation where you can't make any moves in the future because you've been tied up and you won't be able to move a guy like that with that sort of number on his contract.
Well done, Jay Michael, the star. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for hopping on.
No problem, anytime.
So Jay Michael, the star on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Sad news from Major League Baseball. Los Angeles Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs, 27 years of age, Santa Monica, California, has passed away. have not seen a report of cause of death. He was 27 years old. He just pitched 2 days ago. And the game between the Angels and the Rangers in Arlington has been postponed tonight due to that. Tyler Skaggs, 27 years old. And, of course, we'll follow that story. All right, quick break. We'll come back. 239-1070. We want to do an Anything Goes. You guys all in for a little Anything Goes here on a Monday. If you like the Pacers moves, if you didn't, if you want to talk some Reds and Cubs, we can do that too. It's the most unfiltered segment in the history of indie radio. It's Anything Goes at 239-1070 next.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys. A partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Hey, John, for CarX. CarX, the location you need to hit, and I mean right here and right now for the great deals, and especially this time of year. All right, we got some issues. Those issues might be your AC. Maybe it's not pumping out the cool air as you believe it should. CarX will inspect the entire AC system for just $19.99 right now. Here's something else for you, too. Always, CarX is the best in brakes. $89.99 per axle on most vehicles with a lifetime guaranteed brake pads. That's what you got going on. So squeaking, grinding on your brakes, take it to CarX for the great deals. And the Joe Childers run CarX locations in Central Indiana just for you. Make sure your car, truck, or van's running the way that it should for brakes, tires, anything mechanically done, all the way down to oil changes. There's one place and one place only to go. Tell them I sent you to CarX today.
Quit eating your burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Follow your instincts to B-dubs for the new All-American Cheeseburger. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. And knock that baby down with a frosted beer at the bar. Just like the sports gods intended. The new All-American Cheeseburger at Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Please drink responsibly.
911, what's your emergency? In an emergency, voice is best.
They're inside.
But what if you can't call?
Home invasion reported 1 mile south of downtown. Be advised, alert was received via 911 emergency text. Woman hiding in closet, she can't use her voice.
When a situation is too dangerous to make a call, text to 911 capability now helps Hoosiers. But in most emergencies, voice is still best.
Hello, I think my dad is having a heart attack. He's barely breathing. Hurry, please hurry.
Now, over 600 times a day, Hoosiers use text for 911. It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired, and to those in select dangerous situations. Thanks to the Indiana 911 Board, Indiana leads the nation in 911 capability. For more, visit in911.net.
It's good to hear your voice, ma'am. Help is on the way.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's Big Joe. Right now, for every window you buy, you get the next one free. No limits and 0% financing for 36 months. Call 317-659-8191 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, Johnny, for 1 hour heating and air conditioning. That's 1 hour heating and air conditioning at 844-1-HOUR. You tell me, how is your cooling unit doing right now? Is it getting the job done, or do we have some issues? Have you found some issues, significant issues that could very well cost you money and certainly could very well keep you way too hot and uncomfortable in your home? That's where my friends in 1 hour are involved here. They come in, the experts, make sure everything's running smoothly, and if it's not, they'll fix it right then and right there. They have the equipment with them to make sure you don't have to go back to the warehouse or go back to the shop to get it. They'll get it done right then and right there with a great price. 1 hour heating and air conditioning. That's 844-1-HOUR. Tell them the JMV sent you. 844-1-HOUR today.
Don't miss the summer's biggest sporting event. It's the 25th running of the Indiana Derby at Indiana Grand Racing and Casino, Saturday, July 13th. Meet and greet this year's chairperson, Jeff Saturday, 6-time Pro Bowl center and Super Bowl champion, with more than $1 million in stakes races and $2,500 mega bets up for grabs. Be one of the first 2,500 and receive a free 25th anniversary Derby tee. Gates open at 3 p.m., free parking and free general admission for all ages. Visit IndianaGrand.com for exclusive Derby packages and all the details. The excitement never ends at Indiana Grand Racing and Casino, just off I-74, exit 109, Shelbyville. Presented by Caesars Entertainment.
Must be 18 or older to wager on horse racing at racetracks and 21 or older to gamble at casinos. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Turn to the experts at Howald Heating and Carrier for all your cooling needs. Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good. Online at HowaldHeatingandAir.com.
Diamonds Direct's largest ever ring sale is not this weekend, but next weekend, July 12th through 14th. Get extra savings on all rings next weekend only at Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
The Ride with JMV.
What in God's name is going on in here?
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Let's do some unfiltered radio segmenting right here. You guys good? Most unfiltered ever. You don't even get checked in by Kyle. You call 239-1070. You jump on, we put you on the air. And you say whatever you want about whatever you want. I'm going to be live at the Fieldhouse tomorrow. I shall explain coming up why and how you can be there in a minute. 239-1070 is my way, your way. Anything goes. Line 1, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hello, JMV. This is Big Glenn, Pacers Forever here.
Hello there.
I just want to say two things. One, I love our new acquisitions that we got yesterday. And two, there might be some people that might be disappointed with losing Bogey and Thad. But to be honest with you, was they really going to get any better? I mean, they're heading north of 30 right now.
Yeah, you know, they got younger. It makes all the sense in the world. It really does. They're getting younger.
Most definitely.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Anything goes at 239-1070. Who's this? Go ahead.
And this is Randall Bacon.
Randall, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say the Pacers fans are crazy. The East is pretty weak right now, and we have a good chance of making the conference finals this year. So we can go ahead and cry and bitch and moan.
Okay. Anything goes at 239-1070. Now we're on it. Who's this?
This is Damien.
Hello, Damien.
So why do we switch from school being how it was 20 years ago to being a balanced schedule, but we can't figure out balancing radio advertisements instead of putting it 6 minutes at the end of the hour?
Oh.
Can you put any insight into that?
They have built-in clocks. They have built-in clocks. Man, you guys are hanging up on my ass right here. Come on. We have built-in clocks, and people much higher than me, I'd rather have them explain it to you, because sometimes it really is not clear to me, but it's fine. They just come up with a way, like we follow clock. They're not all the same. That's not a question for me. What the hell are you doing asking me a clock question here? Come on. I can do show-wise. I don't want to do anything that's going to lead up to it like clocks. We devise a clock that best benefits you, certainly benefits us, our advertisers, and those that are out there taking a gauge of the people listening. How does that sound like a BS comment? Anything goes. You're on the air. Who's this?
This is Clint.
Clint, go ahead.
I have a question. Are you going to be honest with your answer?
Sure.
Do you and Dockage hate each other?
Do we hate each other? I don't know. I don't think we hate each other, no.
Oh.
Does it seem that way?
I just think it's weird that you guys, like, he doesn't talk about your show at 3 o'clock. Like, there's no segue. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we hate each other by any stretch. Hate's a strong word. You know what I mean? Huh? I doubt if we'd be having dinner anytime soon, but we don't hate one another. Yeah. So
all right.
I don't know if I hate anybody. I mean, I'm a pretty reasonable dude. I try to like everybody. So I mean, I'm trying to answer that as honestly as you ask.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a Dagwood Supreme kind of guy at Dagwood.
Bingo. Do you know I went turkey, roast beef, and bacon with a little shot of spicy brown on mine. It was pretty sweet.
I need to add the spicy brown to my order next time. It's a good idea.
Do you go to the Dagwoods in Bloomington or the one up here?
Well, when I went to IU, I used to go to the one that was on 10th Street.
Yep.
But I went the other day because my parents have a place on Monroe, and I went to the Indiana Avenue one.
I was right in there on Saturday, man. I was right in there hanging out and getting it. I love it. I used to love to walk down the stairs, though, and wait and play a little Donkey Kong, but things change.
No more Donkey Kong there.
Yeah. But
I'm more of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade guy, the Pizza King over here on 135.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about, the Pizza King on 135 over there. I got you.
So, yeah.
Hey, thanks for the call, Clint. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know. Kyle, do you think I hate anybody? I mean, I think that there's some huge cranks and buttholes out there that I dislike, but I don't think I hate anybody. You come up with anybody I hate? I mean, you've been with me for like a month now. I'm a pretty get along type of guy.
You're pretty go with the flow. If you don't like them, then
I just don't talk to him. Yeah, I mean, I don't worry about things that I don't want to have to worry about. I can tell you that. You know what, Michael? I don't even know if I hate what's his name, the lead singer of Puddle of Mud. Because he tried to kiss my wife years ago. Because he's just kind of a junkie. I don't hate him. Wes Scanlon. I didn't like him at the time, and I wanted to fight him. It's a damn good thing I wasn't in Kokomo, or it'd be radio host and junkie lead singer fight in Kokomo, which would be great. David Thresh says, I don't hate Eric DaCosta. I think he's a red-ass nut that runs the Ravens organization as general manager now, but I don't hate him because he helped out with a great story. I have a great story to tell now. So I don't hate him, but he is a red-ass nut, and I sure as hell wouldn't want him running the Colts. And I'm glad he's not running the Colts. Line 4 is anything goes. Who's this?
Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple things. That's a dang shame about Tyler Skaggs.
Yeah.
I just, I hate to jump to conclusions, but I'm left-handed, had my own issues, but I know left-handed people suffer a lot more prevalent, depression, and like half the schizophrenics in America are left-handed. I just wonder if it could be a suicide. But
I hope not.
That's a shame, but just, if you have left-handed people in your family, then consider that, that they don't ignore warning signs.
I didn't even know this is what you're telling me right now. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's true. The suicide rate is much higher. It's just, I don't know why, just the wiring's different than right-handed people. But anyway, I've had to learn the hard way with people, members of my family. But anyway, my main reason for the call was the Reds with Puig. I just feel like now is the time to try to sign him when it gets to September and there are 12 games out and there's 10,000 people in the seats.
he's going to, hey, I'm out of here, Try to get him 3 or 4 year deal now, because he's the best they're going to get as far as, more right and something along with Suarez.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and thank you for the call. I don't know if they're going to do that. Hey, by the way, Puig and Strop, aren't you Cubs fans happy about one thing? That Strop finally hit a target. Strop finally hit a target over the weekend. That was funny. Strop, feel good about the fact that Strop hit a target. And I need the Reds to play the Cubs weekly. Line 3 is anything goes. Who's this?
This is Lucas Gibson.
Go ahead.
Hi, I was just wondering, we've been talking a lot about the Pacers today, but what do we think about Wesley Matthews now being a Milwaukee Buck?
I don't really care. Do you care? I know that he wanted to go someplace where he could start or felt he could start, and maybe he's going to be able to start. Maybe they're going to start him in that lineup in Milwaukee. I mean, they're going to bring back George Hill, so you got Bledsoe, Matthews. He takes the place of Brogdon up there, you think, as a starter?
I would imagine, yeah. And then, or if not that, he'd come off the bench behind, obviously, Middleton or Giannis, which would be, in my opinion, perfect for him.
Yeah, just from what I was told, that he wanted to start. And he wanted to start and get paid a little bit more money, but he certainly wanted to start, which wasn't going to happen here.
Right, absolutely not. I mean, he did. I think he did all right for us for what it was, but
yeah,
thank you.
It wasn't anything great, so yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no.
Yep. Hey, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Let's close out Anything Goes here at 239-1070. Who's this? Hello? Who's this? Hi, Amy. How are you? Go ahead, Amy.
Good, how are you?
Great.
Do you think, is there going to be any more moves from the Pacers during free agency, or you think they're done?
They may be getting one minor final move, maybe. I would expect monetarily, but nothing big. Kind of like when all of a sudden Kyle O'Quinn was dropped in. It would be something without a great deal of fanfare. Nothing very big, but they probably got one more in them, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Amy, thank you. All right, line 2 is Anything Goes. Final time. Who's this?
Yeah, what's going on, JMV, man? I got a couple of questions. Will they be re-signing Cal O'Quinn, and if they not about to make another move on another wing, I think the Pacers need to leave it like it is as far as their wing players and let them other guys develop, because they got some nice names out there as far as who they already have on the team.
Yeah, and thank you for the call. I think if they're going to add somebody, it's going to be some sort of guard. That's why T.J. McConnell's name has been mentioned. A veteran type of guy. I could see them, but how many of those guys are out there because, money-wise, they just don't have much to spend, right? That's my guess. Kyle O'Quinn, they're not, all the expiring contract guys are done. It's over, which is kind of amazing. Yeah, I know. JMV when asked about clock calculation. Well, I mean, I hear 19 different things about how they want to do it. Like right now, I'll give you a great example. I'm way over, but I don't really care because I'm bailing at the top of the hour anyway. I'm done, but I'm way over. So yeah, I just go with what the really smart people tell me. That's kind of how it works here. Because they know that they better not leave that decision to me and I'll completely screw it up. You guys were great. That was a great Anything Goes. You know how many questions I'm going to get about this later on tonight, Kyle? Hey, Kyle, there's going to be endless questions. Clint brought it, and I'm going to get endless questions. That's okay, though. Hey, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Completely honest. But I will say this. There's no hatred for me for anybody. I mean, not hatred. That's way too strong for this. All right, quick one, final time. We'll come back, and we'll tell you about tomorrow, where we're going to be next.
8th Annual Tom Doggett Memorial Golf Outings presented by Franciscan Health Cancer Center, Monday, July 15th at Golf Club of Indiana. Register your team at 1070thefan.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. We're almost halfway through summer, and if you haven't found the home of your dreams, I have some great news for you. Mortgage interest rates continue to drop, and we are back to those historic low levels. What does that mean for you? You have a lot more buying power. You can now expand your search to a higher price point and still have the same payment. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Diamonds Direct's once-a-year store-wide ring sale is coming. Next weekend, July 12th through 14th. Get extra savings on virtually every ring. Engagement rings, wedding bands, eternity bands, 3 stone rings. Thousands of rings on sale. Lowest prices of the year and special financing up to 48 months. Top ring designers are flying in truckloads of the hottest new styles. Just released at the Vegas Jewelry Show. Fashion rings, colored stone rings, stackable rings. All included. Diamonds Direct's annual summer ring sale. Next weekend, July 12th through 14th. Only at Diamonds Direct.
Keystone at the Crossing.
I can't get rid of water like I used to. It's embarrassing, but I leak. And I can't get rid of this musty smell. Ew.
If your house could talk.
My foundation was strong, but the stress weighed on me. And I cracked a lot.
I'm literally a walking hazard. I'm not that old. When they told me I needed a lift here and there, well, I never.
No one ever goes down there. Who knew there was mold spreading? Is your house trying to tell you something? Cracks in the drywall, uneven floors, musty smell. These can be signs of a sinking foundation, crawl space issues, or a leaky basement. Call Indiana Foundation Service for a free inspection at 888-222-0608. That's 888-222-0608. And take advantage of no payments and no interest until 2020. Some restrictions apply.
Now I love the way I look. You can't even tell I had any work done.
Yingling Golden Pilsner, a beer so crisp, refreshing, and smooth. When you crack one open, it makes any occasion golden. A night out with the ladies.
I might call it a night. A night to remember.
Game day with your buddies.
Beer man, Pilsner here. And here, and here.
Happy hours come to life.
Could I get a Yingling Golden Pilsner? You know what? Make it a bucket.
Yes, with a Yingling Golden Pilsner, card games get wilder.
I should probably fold. But I'd rather go all in.
Even backyard bonfires feel more alive.
Hey guys, I brought my guitar. And my drums.
So no matter where the day takes you, crack open a smooth, refreshing 6 generations in the making Yingling Golden Pilsner and make your day golden. DG Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Marshall Mechanical, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Franklin, is the proud sponsor of the Franklin Firecracker Festival. Terry, this sounds like a ton of fun.
I know it, Big Joe. You can kick off Independence Day celebrations in an all-American way the evening of Wednesday, July 3rd in beautiful downtown Franklin. Enjoy the Kids Fun Zone, train rides, the Elks Beer Garden, and plenty of food, that's for sure.
And there's going to be music. Always got to have music by the Franklin Community Band and the Blue River Band. Then at 10 o'clock, the presentation of the colors and the national anthem, followed by
fireworks. It's Wednesday, me too. Wednesday night, July 3rd, the Franklin Firecracker Festival in downtown Franklin. It's the perfect way to start the long holiday weekend and celebrate America's birthday.
The Franklin Firecracker Festival is proudly sponsored by Marshall Mechanical, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer in Franklin. If you need cooling service this summer, give Eric Marshall or Mark Chester a call at 317-738-5940 or just visit them online at callthemarshallnow.com.
I had prostate cancer.
A PSA may have saved his life. Ask your doctor about preventive screenings. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
Hey, Dan Doggett here. Join me tomorrow. We're going to talk a lot of hoops. We're also going to talk to Mike Chappell. And, of course, we're going to have to decide whether or not we think the Pacers did well and the Colts as well. Join me tomorrow.
The Ride with JMV. FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
All right, tomorrow's show, Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Doors open at 2:30. Going to be having a watch party for the Women's World Cup semifinal. Team USA of England. Players from the Indy 11 and the Fever will be there watching. And you fans, live on the Jumbotron video board. Food and beverages will be on sale at the concession stands. Free admission tomorrow. Again, gates or doors in this case open at 2:30. Game starts at 3. Free admission. And I think I'm going to be down there live doing the show. Doing the show with the Fever and the Indy 11. That is coming up tomorrow. Doors open at 2:30. Game starts at 3. That is USA and England. Free admission. So join me there. Let's have a blast coming up tomorrow. Jay Michael was really good earlier. Podcast at 1070thefan.com. We'll continue to talk about the Pacers, their moves, the rest of the NBA and their moves later on this week. Keep in mind that we're going to be out the 4th and the 5th. So I need to roll. Are you rolling the? Do I have time here? Okay, I had time. I thought you said I had to hurry, so I'm sorry. I had plenty of time right here, didn't I? Anyway, the 4th and the 5th, we're going to be out to celebrate 4th of July. JMV, your boy Dylan Windler plays later on tonight. He does. Cleveland and San Antonio, the Salt Lake City Summer League tonight at 7. I'm going to watch that and get a load of our guy. Hey, JMV, I guess it's not a bad free agency. I didn't want Bogey for more than 15 to 16 mil. I love Brogdon, but I'm worried about his foot issues. May linger for a long time. Maybe the Bucks knew something. I mean, they did go. They chose Lopez and giving Middleton a lot of money over him. 2 slightly above average wings fighting for starter minutes with Sumner pushing them as well. I'm not sure who will be filling Vic's shoes in his absence. I'm guessing it's going to be Brogdon, Lamb, Warren, Turner, and Sabonis is how that is going to look unless something else happens. JMV, assuming Oladipo comes back healthy, do you think Brogdon and Oladipo may be the best starting backcourt the Pacers has had since Jackson and Miller? Yeah, I don't know about that, Steve. I'd have to look back on it. I don't know. See how Vic comes back. You guys have been awesome today. Great, anything goes. Tony, 4 Winds Lakeside and Marina, Lake Monroe. Thanks for a great weekend. Hey, by the way, sign up, Backyard Bourbon Broadcast, 1070thefan.com. Jay Michael, podcast, 1070thefan.com. Kyle, great job out of you. Tomorrow, live from the viewing party, Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Greg Rakestraw, and more. Tomorrow after 3. Hey, it's JMV for Connecticut Water, the absolute best. Here's what I want you to do this summer. If you don't